Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, admittedly, the first video on this channel in quite a long time. I am sorry about that. This is, of course, a Saturday Smackdown VOD, the entire stream condensed down into just the games which were played, and I really shouldn't have spent the time editing this together, because I have university assignments due at the end of this week, and I should really do them. But this particular Smackdown was possibly one of the most entertaining ones Zuta and I have seen in a while, so I just couldn't. I had to get it up. I felt compelled to do so, and I did, so here it is. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. Zuta, what's the date?
The 7th of February, 2015. 2015.
There we go. There's the date. Saturday Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen. As always, every Saturday. Come join us, 9 p.m. GMT. That is also 1 p.m. PST. Yes.
That's correct.
Well, here we are, in the north of the map, in the colour red. We do have Aizamk for, I'm not sure how many games, how many Smackdowns are running. Aizamk, quite, people actually, I got messages today saying, oh, I want to see more Aizamk build orders and stuff. So it's still definitely popular.
They're not like, oh, get rid of this guy.
No, I haven't heard any comments like that just yet. Oh, those berries are really quite close to his town. He'll be quite happy about that since he's playing British. Might need those at some point. But he does start with 2 wood crates, so no crazy shenanigans today. He's not going to be building that trading post because he indeed will not have enough wood to do so. But he does pick up the 30 coin there, and maybe we'll see him lay down a market with that. Certainly 30 coin going to be quite nice to help him out with the hunting dogs upgrade. But in the south of the map, also playing as the colour British, the civilization British, we do have green, Snow. Same crate stats, currently grabbing himself a 40 wood treasure. Not a huge treasure, but certainly going to be useful for British. What do you think of the British mirror, Zuta?
I mean, we've seen this matchup before, right? I mean, in general, I think you have like kind of two basic strategies that you can do. You can either boom and make muskets, or you can boom and make longbows, and which you decide to do is kind of reminiscent, or I guess indicative of what your future play will be. If you're going to be mining gold and you're going to be making muskets, you're likely going to be either trying to age or trying to get some sort of tech advantage at some point, getting extra upgrades, steel traps, stuff like that. If you're going to be making longbows and pikes, likely you're just going to be trying to make as many manners as possible and just booming in that way. So playing with the muskets a little bit more tech oriented gives you some flexibility to age, whereas if you just are making longbows and pikes, then you're going to be probably a little bit more focused on just manner booming early in the game. Obviously both have their benefits, getting tech advantages, getting to the 3rd age, getting 2 Velcanets, stuff like that, really, really strong. But on the other hand, being able to maximize your manner efficiency and just, have way more vills is also a very good thing as well. So that is what it is. It's very hard to tell. I mean, obviously at this point, we have Snow in the south who has chopped a little bit of wood for an extra manor house versus A's who has opted for a market and probably an early hunting dogs, I would assume, as well. So not much really to say about the opening other than just a little bit of variance there, but both perfectly fine.
Yep, both perfectly fine, and I believe we've discussed which we prefer in different situations and all of that, but equally perfectly fine, as you say. But Aizamk could be 3 villages. There it is. Nothing funky. I was waiting for that to see what. Because you're mentioning all these things. Oh, British can do this. Yeah, go up and get that tech advantage. Absolutely, mass musks, colonial, and Aizamk sometimes doesn't seem to do any of those things. We'll see what he's up to.
Exotic hardwoods. Well, that would be interesting.
I'm yet to see him send that.
I'm still waiting for the 3 villager, the TP 3 villager manor card plus exotic hardwoods shipment from him. I'm still waiting for that.
The TP what?
So you know how he does he builds the TP, sends 3 vills, and then he sends the Virginia come.
Oh, I see.
I'm waiting for him to send to try and be greedy and sneak another card in there and send exotic hardwoods as well.
We'll have to see. I'm not sure how well he's going to get away with that against Snow, but it's entirely possible. But both going up to the next stage. I believe Aizamk's got a slight lead on him.
Does he? Yeah, I mean, it's like 20 seconds, right? I mean, I guess that comes from the market efficiency. We do have to remember Snow did chop like I mean, how much extra wood would it be? He needed an extra 70 wood, so he had to chop 70 extra wood, barring any treasures that he got. So, I mean, there's that discrepancy right there. Obviously, if you're chopping wood in Age 1 versus not chopping wood in Age 1. And plus, I mean, this is also, we have to remember that the Asian hunts aren't very easy to control. So you can see how Aze is like, got 3 of these hunts like out here really awkwardly kind of by his market. He doesn't really have much control over that aside from, you know, the little bit of guidance that you can give to those hunts. So sometimes it's, you know, those like 10-second differences can be made just because of the fact that
villagers walking around.
Yeah, your villagers are walking around.
Because obviously the starting hunt for the Asian dynasties does not, they don't move. Well, you can shoot one of them and it will walk a tiny bit. As Zuta says, you can give it a little bit of guidance. But yeah, a lot of villager seconds can be wasted if indeed they do bumble around and hit each other, or those animals aren't too close to your town centre. But aged up with the 200 coin Aizamk has, plus the outpost, which is going forward for a sneaky little barracks on the front.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be playing some sort of early aggression here. And I think we'll see some sort of musket rush. He tends to play... Ooh, look at these outposts. They're gonna be really
nice next to each other, yeah. It's like reminiscent of AOE 2 or Age of Empires 1, where like the towers like are built next to each other and shoot each other, but they don't do that in AOE 3. No. But
this could be interesting. We're going to have like dual Raxes out here, like one for each player and a tower on top. This could be like a kind of a sideways game where... we're playing along like this horizontal axis, but Aze might be able to get some significant damage.
That's
on
true.
this tower.
5 musks coming out, going to get that extra siege in there, times 4 damage whilst it's being built. Obviously, he's not going to want to hang around once it's up because that's going to be doing some damage to him. Though he might do enough damage to actually just. Would you take that on with 5 musks?
I would take it on. I would stand here absolutely and take it on. He's going to have another 5 like very soon after coming. Having his tower up is going to be pretty big for him. Yeah,
you do, though, fall behind, especially the Explorer now going to come in again to take out that extra musk. He's already moved the outpost onto that second musketeer there, didn't want to overkill the musk, so actually...
5 longbows, interesting.
5 longbows as well. I was just going to say, though, like, attacking this tower, you do fall behind slightly in terms of mass, because you'll, like, cost 1 or 2 units, and then... But then you've got your own tower in your base, so I guess that's not a huge concern.
Yeah, and he did start with the mass advantage here as well, right? I mean, we have to consider that his first 5 muskets got out 30 or so odd seconds before Snow's did. So he is always going to have like that little bit of advantage in that way. So sure, he did lose some to the tower, but he was ahead to start with. But...
Oh, villager kill. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Absolutely. There it is. Already putting Snow a little bit further behind, though Green does have some musketeers walking into his opponent's base right now, forcing those villagers off the coin into the town centre, so certainly doing some sort of damage. I think a second Greenville goes down, not too good for him.
Yeah, and I do like Snow's decision here to just to go raiding with these first couple of muskets. He realizes that he's going to lose the tower. He can't fight underneath the barracks. Certainly going to be difficult for him. And so just using these to try and get some damage down. Now, he didn't actually really get any damage done.
No.
But he's at least buying himself a little bit of time back at home to try and reestablish some infrastructure. But Aze is in a really good spot here. He's killed those 4 vills, or he's killed those 4 muskets that were at home with only town center fire. He's doing a lot of damage here to villagers.
Yeah. Another one goes down right there.
Yeah, another 2, another one going down back at home.
Back in the base too, yeah.
So
and keeping them all idle.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job here of applying some of this split pressure, and we can kind of see that in the military population really starting to show a discrepancy, 15 versus 10. And I mean, now in Vil count here, we've evened things up, despite the fact that Aze did send 6 muskets as his 3rd card. So.
Yeah, 6 muskets for the extra push here. But at this point, Snow is a shipment behind, so I'm sure we're going to see that any second now. I think possibly he was maybe sending his 600 wood or something boomy orientated, then deleted it because he wanted to send military units, and then perhaps thought, oh god, I don't need these anymore, and then deleted it and started sending something else. Going to see that soon, but what will it be? He doesn't really want to send any military. I think at this point he doesn't need to, but he's still...
Yeah. And at the same time... we do have to recall that he got the tower XP as well, which is fairly significant in getting that next shipment. He's also gotten out more military units and more military unit kills early, which does add into that discrepancy as well. So
True, that does get you the extra XP for your shipment here. But a little bit of an engagement. Green trying to take out the tower, but Red bringing all his units back towards it. Not going to let that go down. Red almost going to lose a villager. Not quite.
And those vills playing on the edge. Brave citizens.
Very risky.
Of the United Kingdom there.
And we're all brave, absolutely. I think Green's got more units here. What is he going to take this?
He's got good reinforcements. He still has the tower he can fall back to. He does have those 2 longbows in the back as well, which are absolutely insane.
And he's got these guys running around a lot as well, forcing.
Oh yeah, didn't even see those. That's really good. Like being able to split up his units and still hold this forward position. I mean, I guess that shows how important the tower is at this point.
Yeah, that early damage he got on his opponent, that was pretty nice from that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, we can see a little bit of that villager discrepancy now. I mean, there's 2 villager difference, but at the same time, there's also like a almost double military difference, which is even more important. And on top of all that, Snow hasn't really had an option to herd, so like stuff like his hunt over here is really in an awkward spot. This hunt is in an awkward spot. I mean, A's even has, stuff watching down here on this coin mine and stuff, so it's going to be really hard for him to get his hunts back in a position where he can catch up in mass. And if he fails to catch up in mass, I mean, he's going to have a really hard time winning the game. I mean, we do see we've got a stable out here, which will allow him some sort of tech transition, but at the same time, like, what is that stable going to help him against all these muskets? Not an awful lot.
That's true. Unless AS does start to go longbow heavy. He has been mixing them in, so perhaps he wants a few cav to deal with those, but or perhaps this is some sort of I need 3 cav to help catch up. Having said that though, 5 longbowmen or 4 longbowmen very close to that barracks, which you can see, gonna go catch them off guard for absolute free with the 3 cav. Maybe he can make them work. Does have 5 musks over here, or perhaps a few more, plus the explorer there. As well, sort of stopping A's on this hunt and maybe using them to be harassing.
Yeah, I'm still just concerned, like, where he's going to get hunt. I guess he's trying to establish himself over here. He's had his army milling around over there, trying to just control that spot, chase the muskets around. But I don't know. Maybe Snow making a bit of a play to get back into the game. Things are very, very close here once again.
Yeah, that's true. Aizamk pointing out his miss macro, floating 1,000 coin right there. That's not too good for him, but I'm sure he'll find a way to spend that.
I would buy food is how I would spend that.
Certainly, you make layouts of extra. So you were saying ketchup en masse earlier, and that just made me think of tomato ketchup. And lots of it, and masses.
Yes, masses of red ketchup. Paste.
Sorry, I had to point that out. I thought that was just...
That's a perfectly valid use of the word ketchup, I guess.
Yeah, he is red after all, Aizamk.
Yep, he's red. He's ketchup.
Yeah, 700 food on the floor there. Again, so I see he's going to be... he sent the food, obviously not a hugely admirable shipment, since it does obviously, it's the fastest gathering resource, so other resource shipments are better, but if you've got such a large pile of coin, I guess you can sort of even your pile up a bit, and that's certainly quite nice.
Oh, are these 3 dead Minutemen going to get a bill? Yeah, they are. Wow, they got one.
Not too bad.
Yeah, and even more importantly, he knows that Snow's coin mine in base is gone, and this is going to instantly become a very easy point to focus. I mean, there are more coin mines around the map back here. Potentially the one in the south of the map hasn't been scouted. Maybe even the one on the right has definitely been scouted, but certainly with that knowledge, it's going to be much easier for him to kind of define a point of focus here, and we can see that coming forward now.
We have some cavalry, perhaps going to try and engage there, but going to get caught by the pikemen a little bit. Doesn't want it really. I mean, there's not that many pikemen, but once they get slowed down, those cavalry might be going to get there and actually slow them down some more. Does lose perhaps 1 or 2, certainly 1, but perhaps 2, or definitely 2 for free. Not managing to gain a huge amount there, but certainly I do like what he's doing by searching for the villager kills. Oh, a little bit of an engagement in this coin mine, certainly sending those villagers away.
Yeah, he lost. Snow lost quite a few villagers up there as well. Lost 3 or 4 vills.
Oh, I wasn't looking. That's not good for him. I was gonna say I like his raiding, and he has got these 2 muskets down here, which are Aizamk has now managed to deal with by sending up his batch of 5 pikes to. But they have been causing a few problems for the villagers on the hunts as well. So Snow, definitely doing all the small things he needs to do to try and catch up.
Yeah, but also A's doing a really good job. Like this is stuff that like a lot of people wouldn't do. Like having
Ooh.
these 5 pikes here, he should just fight that. He can
Yeah.
easily fight that.
I was looking at it and going, no, in terms of cost efficiency, that's not good. But actually, 5 cav is 1,000 resources, and 5 pikes is not. It's a lot less. So 5 cav winning that fairly convincingly.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just there's so much action everywhere across the map. This is just.
We're going to see the villagers. A few have gone down, but obviously the musketeers quite close by. There are a lot of red cav there, which aren't going to be hugely useful. But having said that, there's also a lot of green cav. I mean, in this fight, it's just musk massing. Though they are still very tanky. He's not going to be able to escape from that, go into hand combat, and then the cav run away. They don't want to take that ×3 multiplier. The musketeers now going to get back because the cav are no longer there, sort of keeping them attacking by using the snaring effect. Going to turn around again, possibly hand combat. Yeah, I think, well, just getting them, ones on the front a little bit closer. Ultimately, Snow trying to keep him here.
Yeah, he's got a couple pikes in there. I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of putting all of your muskets in hand combat to try and deal with the cav there. It's too easy just for the cav to kite back and the muskets just to continue to do damage. I think that's a situation where you just need to be kind of like hitting and running and continuing to kite your way backwards and just trying to eliminate the cav line.
Yeah. But I guess if you think, oh, maybe I can get a couple of sneaky hand combat attacks off on these, it's really efficient, then I get rid of these cav. But because it's difficult to run away whilst being attacked by them, but that is it.
Another little raid in the south. There are just these little raids like this going on everywhere.
Yeah, both players really, really nice. Doing a good job of keeping on top of it.
I can't wait to see the Vil line at the end of this game because it's gonna be absolutely murder. But Snow has actually got a fairly scary army. He's concentrated his whole army now basically up in this point, whereas A's is kind of split off into like all these little awkward spots with his army, and this might be a kind of a scary push here by him. He's got a lot of muskets. They're all concentrated, and there's a lot of bills, like, just in this area, on this coin mine, on this hunt, on this berries, that have to be very, very careful with.
That's absolutely true. Though, having said that, these random cav are doing a lot of raiding, which is...
Look at these raids down to the south and the east of the map. Just so much damage going down.
Yeah, it really does reflect the villager count right now. Aizamk is significant. Well, about 10 villages, 15 villages ahead.
It's going to be he's going to be so many more ahead. He's going to kill like another 10 or 15 vills.
Dude, he might be able to get these though.
Oh my God.
He sees them. He sees
them.
Run,
vills, run. The ones on the coin mine are destined to be lost though.
Though, having said certainly, that is true. I thought the 4 would be able to escape, and he might not be able to see them.
But this is bad for him too, right? Like all of his vills are soon going to be in the town center. I'm assuming those vills aren't going to be able to get away. Yeah. And where is his army? Like his army is so split up and all over the map. There's no way that he's going to get back and be able to defend this town center going down. At which point he's going to lose like all 30 of the villagers that are now garrisoned in his town center.
I think he has chosen to go back though, because. But he's not going to make it in time for dinner, I don't think. Town Centre is now under siege quite heavily from lots of musks. You're absolutely right. All of his villagers, his entire economy is in there.
There's a lot of stuff coming back home though. Like he's got some stuff over there. I don't know if it's going to be in time though. It's going to be a race against the clock here, and we can see everything just kind of pouring back.
He has used his Minutemen as well, as we saw earlier. They managed to almost get a villager kill, so he's not going to have those to pop to perhaps cause a little bit of distraction. Going to have to start the fight prematurely without all of his units because he doesn't want the town centre to go down. Just these units here, obviously wants all of them here at the same time to maximise it. Snow going to ignore that though. Just going to take on the town centre. Going to force it down, get the villagers out. That's quite big. 600 wood worth of a town centre gone down, and of course all these villages are exposed. But Aizamk's army has returned.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose a lot of villagers here, but fortunately he killed a lot of villagers as well. He's still going to be in a villager advantage at this point. And, I mean, so he has lost his town center, but at the same time, I guess he's okay as well. Like, he's got a fairly large military advantage. He's still up 9 villagers, all things said and done, and having the army is more important at this point. 44 military pop versus 19 is going to be very difficult for Snow to catch back up. I think A's is actually in a perfectly fine position, and barring any more craziness with these, like 2 cav raids, I think A's should be able to sniff out where the rest of the villagers are gathering. Hopefully,
on the ice, where you can't even build a tower. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's That is Snow's cav. What am I talking
Yep.
about? Either way, though, they are still vulnerable there. But yeah, he's in a good position. Has more villagers at this point. Certainly double the army. But have to remember, Aizamk no longer does have that town center, which means the villagers won't be being trained. And obviously, of course, Snow's will be. So it's still possible, certainly, for Snow to catch up. But at this point in time, he is behind. Though, having said that, Aizamk has sent his 4 vill shipment, whereas Snow hasn't. So Snow still has that going for him, if he indeed has it in his deck and would like to send it. That's 4 villages that will instantly be added to his pile. Doesn't have it, though.
Yeah, at this point, I think if I were A's, I would just go around and siege infrastructure, kill the town center, kill the stable, kill the barracks. I mean, he knows where all of these key pieces of infrastructure are.
Yeah.
And there's likely to be, some small villager pickups around there as well. We can see the 10 or 15 odd villagers that are gathering around the berries near the town center as well and stuff like that. So, I think if he can eliminate some of that infrastructure, I don't think Snow's in any position. I mean, look at his wood count. He's not in any position even to rebuild a single barracks at this point. So losing that infrastructure is just going to be even more detrimental.
That is true. Yeah, there's not a huge amount he can do. As you say, this stable going down, his barracks already gone down. And where's his army? And he's got an army. It's just, well, it's not quite there, but at the same time, it's just certainly not big enough to stop him. Has he called his Minutemen? Might be able to combine that with plus a shipment, but it's going to be. I think
he's called it. He's called Minutemen as well.
Yeah,
he called it in the fight, off to the right to try and defend this coin mine. So
fortunately, though, A's is going to back off a little bit.
Yeah. Another 5 muskets popping out going to help, but I mean, there's just no way he can fight this army, I don't think. And even if he does fight this army, he's in a fairly significant military disadvantage at this point. And any units that he loses is just going to put him more and more behind.
I think originally, he can see that just the red army that was originally there, you think, okay, maybe I can micro this down, maybe I can take this fight, but obviously these extra musks from A's just arriving, and he sees it. Good game, WP, wow. He says. What that was a pretty intense first game. Lots of raiding going on.
That was an insane. That was a really high level. Look at the vill line. There's just so many dead villagers.
Aizamk YOLO GG swag, starting with that forward racks as the British. I guess in the British mirror, I guess you can do that.
Yeah, lots of flexibility in Brit mirrors. You can do lots of different stuff. I mean, it's very possible to catch them over booming. Making too many manners. I mean, if you send 700 wood and I send 700 wood and I make 2 raxes and a handful of longbows and you make 6 manor houses, I'm going to have units and you're not. And that's a bit of what we saw here. Ace just tended to always have more military units and was able to control them and kind of snowball them in an aggressive enough manner that he was able to win. So did a really good job.
Very good job.
Keeping as many vills alive as he did as well. Also very good for him.
Very intricate matchup. The British Mirror. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move into the second game. For those of you in the VOD, I'll see you all in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in Saturday Smackdown for the 7th of February 2015. This is game number 2. I just said that. Excellent. Sagwane, which building are we going to start with? Come on, let's see. Market.
Please mark it.
Oh, you got it right!
Did I call it? Call it.
There it is. 1 point to Zuta. Okay. Market start. Really nice. Everyone loves the market start. It just makes life so much... it feels so much better. That's right. There it is. But, Aizamk, in the west of the map. No. Jesus Christ.
They switched colors, which was going to be very confusing.
They did. That's definitely why I was unable to work out immediately which side of the map. There was no other reason involved at all for that. So, it's playing as Portuguese here, and has the option to build a trading post without that 200 wood. Let's see if that is indeed what he does. Does it? There it is. Gonna see some funky port stuff going on, because he now no longer has enough wood for a house. However, did collect up every other crate, so it's still going to be a 10-10, but there's no coin to leave on the floor because, well, there's that. He could consider a hunting dog, so he has a market for it, so I guess not going to consider that. Zuta, do you want to tell us how upset you are?
I'm not super upset. I just found I found Ace's comment very funny. I have a sneaking suspicion that he watched the VOD of when I criticized the fact that he may not be aware of how much wood Portuguese houses cost.
Yep.
And he very kindly put in a shout out to that fact.
A reference to that. For those of you who don't know, Zuta was saying, oh yeah, I bet Ace just doesn't know how much wood these houses cost. He never makes a house with Portuguese. Ace probably watched that last week, as we just pointed out.
Yeah, I think it's fairly likely that that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, he's actually really funny. I played with him a lot back when I played very, very frequently. I do still play, but not as frequently. And he just makes me laugh, the things he says. He's a really great guy, both on TeamSpeak and on or Skype, whatever you use.
Yeah, he's really clever from like what I've seen as well. He's
University of Oxford. This guy studied at. I hope he doesn't mind me.
Oxford. An Oxford grad. He's an Oxford man.
He's not from Oxford, but indeed, yes, he studied there. Picking up the Carrera de Bois, though, pretty good. Certainly going to help him out, especially since he won't be making quite as many villages as normal in this age without a house. Has only just discovered how much they cost, but I suppose we ought to introduce our opponent on the other side of the map. Not even going to try and work out which one this is. In the colour red, here we have Snow, playing as the British. Has indeed not built a trading post.
Do you think when Snow made his name, he thought like, I'm going to make it Snow with 3 W's just so people like know that I'm not messing around? Or like, why didn't he just pick like Snow with 2 W's?
I think
or 4 W's.
Perhaps it was, I know, I'll call myself Snow. Oh, that username's already taken. How about I add an extra W? Oh, that's already taken.
Well, certainly 3 W's should do it.
That's probably it. Yep, there we go. Aizamk going to pick himself up 150 coin. Pretty big treasure for actually not that many wolves, though not hugely useful. No steel. That Tomahawk won't be picking that up. Don't worry about that, Ace. But this matchup, what do you think? Especially, I guess this is a different matchup from Portuguese versus British. It's actually Aizamk Portuguese 10-10 yellow swag trading post build versus British.
Yeah. I mean, I think in most traditional senses of the matchup, Brits have a fairly large advantage, like all things considered.
Yeah.
And I don't know. As much as A's tries to make his 10-10 shenaniganry work, I mean, what are these villagers doing? But as much as he likes to try and make this work, I think if Brits just makes musks in his base and booms and ages when Ports ages, there's not a lot that Ports can do. Like, Brits just do everything Ports do in a better way at some point in the game. So we will have to see. I think if he can just play defensively, make muskets and longbows, and survive, eventually he's just going to have like 20 more vills than A's is, and then that's when the game kind of ends. So we will have to see.
Yeah. Absolutely true. Portuguese isn't... certainly they do get an extra town centre. That is their bonus, and we can see
it no, the Tomahawk found him.
The Tomahawk? Oh, it found the barracks. Oh, wow, what a coincidence. But then again, perhaps he was scouting in that location. You never know, that might have been something he was looking for. I know A's does this weird 10-10 stuff. I can see he's got a trading post. I'm going to look for that forward racks. Has found it with the Tomahawk. And is not going to... Well, he could certainly be targeting the villagers whilst that was up, but actually going to do some extra damage there. We'll see how that works out for him. But Snow also going to be sieging down this town centre, doing ×4 damage, and that's not like a small deal. That has 18 siege attack times, well, ×4, because he's attacking something being built. But yeah, as you're pointing out, Portuguese doesn't do so well. British does everything better. They certainly get a lot more villagers. They even have a 3 villager shipment, villagers everywhere. Portuguese doesn't have any villager shipments, so that's a big deal for them. And the town centre does take a long time to really start paying off.
Yeah, one thing I do want to mention about this particular build that A's does is if you take a look at like the split of the map, you can kind of draw a line like down this way of the map. And if you compare all the food behind that line, there's significantly more for the blue player at this point. And one thing that Brits really do need a lot of is food as they progress forward in the game. So if he can maintain that line and not give and not break at that line, then moving forward, he's going to have a lot more food, and he can maybe eventually starve out the British player. And from the times that I've seen this work, that's basically what ends up happening. And so we'll see whether or not he's able to make that come true once again. Cav on the map, though.
Cav coming out, going to do some damage to those pikemen, going to try and get them away, or was walking them backwards for a period of time. Cavalry, though, the one being attacked, being taken off, ran away, making those pikemen go forward for a couple of split seconds, so that they're not attacking, they're instead walking. But Cav, 5 Cav, able to dispatch 5 pikes, because, of course, they do cost 1,000 resources to get 5 Cav, 5 pikemen, really not so many. And then, gonna go and chase down these crossbowmen. Aizamk, this is really not too good for him. He was perhaps not anticipating the British player to start with a stable, especially after seeing the Portuguese player age up so quickly.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention about Aze's build is he's gone economic 3700 wood, 600 wood. Usually we see him like do something like 700 food or something in there, and I'm not sure that he necessarily. I don't know that I've necessarily seen him ship economic theory before.
Yeah, no, I've only just looked at these shipments. This looks very interesting indeed. Go with the 1010, but instead playing an economic build, which is.
Yeah, which is a bit contradictory. I mean, here we see the 6 musks coming behind this. Usually he does something like 700 wood, 6 musk, 8 crossbow or something like that and builds pikes, which gives him a much larger mass and much earlier aggression potential. Instead opting for like 700 wood, 600 wood and building trade posts behind this, I'm not so sure that I necessarily like that, because this is just giving the Brit player so much time to boom. If we take a look at the eco tab, can we see how many manners he has? No, we cannot. But we can take a look at the manor population. It's up at 120. So certainly 10 manors or so have been built at this point, and that's a lot of extra villagers, and given this amount of time with this amount of food, the Brit player is going to have a very scary mass here in a very short amount of time. And I don't know that the Portuguese player is necessarily going to be able to make that up.
Yeah, that is true. It's certainly got a large villager count, and certainly going to be able to make a lot of units. Certainly still has food on the map. Portuguese, yeah, this is, though I guess that is, he's up against just cavalry, so that's certainly a thing, though the Minutemen do come out. Having said that, though, there are so many cavalry there that they should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, cost effectively, probably not that good, but I mean, the Minutemen adding damage from the back is certainly, I mean, this is why starting Cav is good against a lot of things in general, is just because you need a lot of front line to be able to tank like the musket or the Minutemen shots and stuff like that. And I think this is going to be game over here pretty quick, I think.
It's looking pretty tough.
Yeah, the line has been held. The build from Eric behind this has been, no deviation from what the traditional Brits would want to do. 700 wood, 5 bill, 600 wood, a very strong build. Going to be able to mix in a Rax here with this, with his next 200 wood. And it's just going to be really tough moving forward here for him to ever get any sort of mass back. I mean,
it's really not good. They just popped out, and now they walked over here to get away, and they just get knocked over. And he wants to mass them up in like, so that he can actually have a reasonable force to take this on with it. If they're being like just broken off as soon as they come out, it's not too good. That Rax is I'm fairly certain going to go down pretty soon. There's a house next to it as well. And loses a villager over here. Nice raid. Snow able to spare 2 cavalry. Certainly the mark of a strong player. Adding just to do a little bit of raiding on the side.
That was something that Samwise 12 always did so well that always impressed me. Like it seemed like anytime you were fighting, no matter where you were gathering food from, there was also 2 hussars standing on top of those villagers. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter, like, it seemed like you were always fighting even numbers in the fight, and he just randomly had 2 cav on top of your food gathering line.
And you think to yourself, how does this this?
Yeah, like I feel like I've done my build really well, and you have 2 hussar more than me, and they're just randomly like standing on top of my hunt. Like, how is this fair?
It's not looking good in terms of villager count. This Samwise pronus is certainly taking its toll, in combination with, of course, the sheer amount of manor houses British can make, and indeed the villager shipments as well, and the lack of villager shipments for Portuguese. Gonna lose that barracks. The score, though, is still reasonable. I don't know how long that will stay like that.
No, and I mean, like, a lot of it is, I mean, a town center gives you a lot of score, right? And it's like, Ace is aging. Wow, I didn't even realize.
Must have been the age up fight. Yeah, it really was. That was definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the game is not over, though it's still tough. He has got the tech advantage now. Castadors and Dragoons certainly going to be very strong against anything someone can make in the Colonial Age. These Minutemen coming forward, perhaps he can get quite a few villager kills here with them. The villagers actually going to, the cavalry now going to come back and put a stop to that, but certainly trying. We'll have to see what he can do with the Fortress Age. The problem is, though, his economy is certainly not as good as the British players.
Yeah, it's not even within shouting distance. It's so far behind. I mean, Snow is up 15 vills. He's going to be aging himself. I mean, if we take a look at the improvements, I guess, Snow hasn't gotten like stuff like steel traps or any of that kind of stuff, any of his tier 2 upgrades. So he's not super far ahead in that way, but the way for the Portuguese player out of this is to get like 20 Dragoons out and be able to like control this mess that the British player is going to be able to put out before it really gets rolling. And I don't see an instance where he's ever going to get out enough Dragoons to make that happen. I think his economy is just too weak. I mean, we can take a look at his resource count floating right now. 50 gold just isn't going to cut it. You're not going to be able to get out big batches of Dragoons with 50 gold.
No, and you're certainly not going to get out Mamelukes either with 50 gold, which may be something the Portuguese player could be considering. Though,
yes, although, I mean, into like Muscus even, like, I'm not sure that you would necessarily even want Mamelukes.
I think Dragoons are certainly very solid and keep the Hussars off.
At the very least, if you can get a big mass of Dragoons, it forces the British player to make some longbows and to get like more upgrades from the barracks and stuff like that. Kind of slows everything down a little bit more. Maybe buys you a little bit more time, allows your trade post a little bit more time to get some XP rolling. You can get your third town center going, whatever, etc., etc. But that's just not the case. I mean, he's gotten aged up. He's had to ship stuff like 5 Dragoon, 9 muskets just to not die to Snow's age 2 play. And now Snow behind this is aging as well. And I don't know, maybe he's got a little tiny window here where he can try and make something happen.
This is where it has to happen, because he's not aged yet. He's just spent 2,200 resources on aging and not making military units. Therefore, this is where he might be able to do some damage, because those Hussars, they're not upgraded yet. And I mean, like the 7 longbowmen that he's just aged up with are now here, but they weren't a moment ago. I think this is where he has to make it happen. It's looking pretty tough. Lost quite a few Dragoons, but still,
And this is the point where Snow can be like, he can just force bad fights with his cav, with the knowledge that, hey, I have more villagers than you, I'm equal tech advantage, and I can kind of leverage my advantage just surely by the fact that I have more villagers than you. Although that being said, like, Snow's villager count has started to really drop down.
It has. Perhaps we underestimate the power of having 2 town centers, certainly. And have there been raids going on? There must have been, right? It's exactly even.
Yeah.
What is? I don't get it.
I don't really know either.
Where did we not see this?
Snow must have just not made villagers for quite some time. And I mean, I guess there is the fact that, I mean, it's kind of what I said too, right? Like, he has to get the veterancy upgrade for his longbow. He has to upgrade all of his units. Muskets have to be upgraded. All units have to be upgraded for the Brit player, where the Portuguese player kind of gets a little bit of that for free with the Dragoon mass. But I still think we're going to see Snow in an okay position. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the villager counts are even is very surprising to me.
Very surprising. Yeah, it's perhaps down to, as you pointed out, maybe one of the players not making villages. And maybe Portuguese, of course, does have 2 town centers. Now 3, since he is up. And there perhaps could have been some raids. But Aizamk caught it catching up. Is actually ahead. There's something strange about this. Has now got his 2 organ guns shipping out. Though 4 Dragoons going to try, does manage to take one of them out. Perhaps going to get the second one? No, I don't think he will, actually. That's quite a lot of Dragoons going to be killed for free right there. That should be quite good for him.
And I mean, the 2 organ guns aren't that important, right? I mean, they're certainly not 2 falconets.
No, that's another problem Portuguese has. Even when they do get up to Fortress, 2 falconets just go bang, and then your organ guns are gone, whereas your organ guns have to go bang, 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 but they don't get a chance to do that, because by the time the falconet shoots, they're just,
they're dead.
They're dead. But having said that, when you train organ guns, they're actually very effective. They do cost less, but yeah, just shipping them is the...
They're good at what they do. They're good at killing
infantry.
Short-ranged infantry, but they're not as versatile.
Wow, more
or
villagers going down for Snow.
Yeah, although in that tower that Snow did just kill, there was a lot of villagers that went down there as well. Yeah. So, but still, this is getting to be like kind of the scary-ish number of dragoons. Like this is, if you could get some Cassadors here in the mix, or imagine a 5 Mameluke shipment right now against all these longbow would be a very good, very low numbers of anti-cav right now.
And he is stacking the coin, right? 600 coin in that inventory. He's got 30% until his next, 70% until his next shipment in terms of the XP he needs for it. So it's still a long way off in terms of XP, unless these trading posts have been configured to it, which we will just about to find out since the Travelers man is about to walk past. Yeah, they are, definitely. I think that's what he's doing. I think you called it, Zuta. He's going for Mamelukes, and he needs them still taking out the villagers like a pro, and might actually be able to use, if he can get a sneaky shot with these Dragoons, he might be able to like volley off it on a cannon, which will really even things out.
Yeah,
Mamelukes are here!
Oh,
Okay.
wow. This could be huge. There's
Power
very
play
little,
right now.
There's so little anti-cav out.
It's just those Dragoons, and if he focuses them down with his own Dragoon, the cannon's getting absolutely wrecked. Sit down there, Cannon Man. And... yeah, Red just... No, he's not going to take it just yet. Perhaps
I might have just slammed everything in there. I may have just slammed everything in there. Because now that you've shown the Mamelukes, I can guarantee you I know what units are in queue for Snow. I don't even have to look.
This stable is now making Dragoons.
Yes, there will be Dragoons, and likely only Dragoons coming out for the next several minutes. There may even be some muskets in the mix.
Yeah. It's possible he's waiting on a batch of units or something, Aizamk, just before he goes in.
Yeah, or maybe another shipment. Like, what else does he have? I guess like 8 Cassador or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe that would have been a chance where he could have just steamrolled in. There wouldn't have been... Yeah, I mean, we can see pikes coming forward. Like, I think the fight would have been much better without those 10 pikes, honestly, for him, if he would have just been able to fight it right then and there.
Yeah. But you just... Mameluke's so strong, so many hit points, they'd definitely be able to, we'd have to do the fight to be sure what would happen, but I'm fairly certain that Aizamk could have taken that quite nicely, all of these red units out.
There's another organ gun out as well, which is worth mentioning. And how is the villager count 56 to 41? I guess Snow just doesn't have resources to make both army and villagers at this point in the game.
Yeah, and Aizamk does have 3 TCs as well. That certainly counts for something. But Aizamk, not taking that fight, perhaps he has something in mind. We're still waiting to see what he does. 5 Cavs have come out.
What's in queue? He's got some Hussar. I guess he wants to just get out some Hussar with this as well. I like his composition. Where are these Hussar at? There they are. They're not upgraded just yet, so no like veterancy upgrade or anything like that.
Perhaps he took the cannons out and thought, all right, I don't want to be too greedy. I've got his cannons for free, and that's definitely pretty good for me. I'm sure he has something in mind. We'll see what happens. But this town centre is certainly being pressured right now, and Snow going to force a fight, otherwise it is going to go down.
Here it comes. Oh, good positioning. The Dragoons kind of cut out of position.
Yep. And they managed to take out that cannon going down as well. The Mamelukes now doing a lot of damage. I think the pikemen being weeded out here by those anything that can do ranged attack. Of course, you want to preserve those hit points on the Mamelukes for as long as possible. Those pikemen do ×5 against them. The Hussars doing a good job, but those longbowmen being absolutely wedged behind the town centre and the water. Really quite nice for him.
Still so many Mams alive. Still 3 Mamelukes left alive in there, and some Hussar as well. 5 Hussars still in there as well.
It's going to be tough to keep for those longbowmen to actually stay alive against that sheer amount of cavalry, but he's done an amazing job of it, because that wedging in between and being behind the trees, it's just like so awkward for cavalry to even get in there into it, and has bought himself enough time for 5 more 10 plus 10, so 10 pikemen plus the 5 dragoons there, and that's definitely going to keep more of these longbowmen alive than otherwise would have done. So I think making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, the longbows are just in such an awkward spot, though. There's still that 1 full HP almost Mameluke as well, like just sitting in the back doing so much damage against like this. Unbelievable. He's won. Yeah. Like there's no recovering for Snow at this point.
That's absolute. Aizamk strikes again against well, I've said it. I think we've said it. Snow is actually probably one of the better players on ESO currently.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane comeback. I was not expecting that. And we can see now the reason he waited was for the veterancy upgrade. I think he wanted a sizable amount of hussars and the veteran upgrade before he went in there. Perhaps he thought 5-man wasn't quite enough.
It was a good call. Wow.
Who are we to judge that? Taking the game back quite convincingly from an extremely far behind position, underestimating ports. Yet again we are. And
keep calm, ship mems.
Oh yes, I showed you my shirt, didn't I? Last week. Do you want to show the stream my shirt?
I'd have to go find the video, but
I can. Okay, let's not worry. It's actually really easy to find. It's the channel trailer.
Oh, really?
It's
okay.
Literally like the last 3 seconds of the video.
Well, that was certainly the case in this. Like,
keep calm and send
memes. Look at the villager count. The villager count is the thing that really surprises me in this game. It just seemed like Eric just ran out of steam. He got to age 3, and he just never got above 45 villagers ever again.
Did he stop making them? Yeah, because he was aging there.
He was aging, but then like he just never really got back into it. And I guess just the cav running around the map was enough to apply some pressure to him. I'm really surprised that that game turned out the way it did. I mean, if you look at the 10-minute mark when Ace has just aged, almost 11 minutes. It's 28 vills versus 45, and like 17 villager discrepancy when you've lost vills as ports and you don't have water, and it's like mid-game Brits. It just seems like you're dead. But a really, really good job by him to win that game. Really well played.
Yeah, 2 really, really good games in a row from these players right now. So see you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. This is game number 3 in the best of 7 series between Snow and Aizamk. 2 very interesting games so far from these players. I have said it before, Snow possibly the best player on ESO currently. I did say it was Blackstar a while ago. I think I'm going to revise that. Sorry, Blackstar. Though certainly of all time there have been players out there with more anyway, this is no. Here he is in this side of the map in the color red, playing as indeed Germany. Coin start, and obviously an extra coin from, of course, that because it's Mongolia. Straight into killing the monkey. Gonna grab himself that scout, and that is what both players will be doing. They want to use that scout to find all of the cows which are available on this map. The yaks, which I'm going to point out, are not cows. Aizamk does not benefit from the cow hacking advantage because of this map. Let's see. Yaks. Yeah, the yak hacks is not actually a thing, but still having yaks is an advantage. Certainly not quite as good as cows, though that benefit does only come into play when you are Aizamk. But here we have German Mirror. Interesting
cool.
map for it.
They're pretty cool, these yaks. Like they're the artwork for them is like really good.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've said it before. Like the models and the textures in this game, for being a game that came out in 2005, are incredibly refined. Like they're very, very good.
I absolutely agree. The graphical fidelity of this game is incredible for something that is so old. I think certainly nowadays you could optimize these graphics to use less processing power, but it was made a while ago. I was just gonna, today I was watching some guy called Adam on Twitch, Adam_AK. He was speedrunning the Age of Empires 1 campaign, and it was the most compelling thing I'd watched in a while. I don't know why I was watching it, but it just surprised me, like how far. Oh, deleting those cows. Perhaps he doesn't want those ones. Those reds nearby. But it was quite interesting, and I typed, like, people were like, oh, AOE 1, this was my childhood, and they're like, some people say, oh, Age of Empires 2, that was the best game ever, why don't you play that instead, it's better in every way, and I just decided to pop my head in and go, Age of Empires 3 is my favourite, and then I got absolutely flamed and trolled. I don't think that's a huge...
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't get it, I really don't understand, this game is so just, like, it doesn't have anything to anyway.
Some people just don't like it, and to be fair, like, play whatever game makes you happy. This game makes us happy. Obviously makes the people who are still watching in the chat happy. So like that's what we play.
This has so much going on for it. It's so competitive, and it's just got nothing to be worried about in terms of like. It just does, I don't know. But this is a game. Red has gone for the market. Blue has indeed gone for the market. About to start aging up in about 400 foos worth of time. Fairly even things going on right now. Both players similar yaks. Snow does have actual, well actually that's not similar. He's
Snow
got
has
4
almost
more.
double, yeah.
He has almost double the yaks. So that's certainly an advantage he does have at this point
Although
in the
there
game.
are these 2 easy ones that A's can pick up that are very likely to be his. I don't see too many situations where he can't secure those and get those back to his base. So it's going to be something like 7 to 9, which isn't that bad. If
Not hugely bad.
I mean, he did get those as well. He did gather those, but he did not get them all the way back to his base. He instead elected to do what ZutaZuta would do quite frequently on this map and delete them because they are simply too far from your base.
Yeah, I've got this really interesting way of getting cows back. I like to do shift clicking all the way around the outskirts of the map, sort of like literally all this way around. Like they never find them. This,
they take the scenic route back home.
They do. That's right. They eventually get there.
Yeah. And by the time they get there, it'll be like 12 minutes into the game, just when you need them.
Well, okay.
Ah, yes, you finally decided to show up. I can finally use you.
A little bit of early conflict going on there. That scout's certainly going to attack Johan Herman. Does not want him scouting. Might be able to actually kill that because, of course, having the extra unit there is going to try and get some range shot off on his opponent. But if you can deny your opponent's explorer, that does kind of, especially as Germany, you only have 1 scout. Though having said that, this is Mongolia. You're not going to be able to scout your opponent once they hit up. You're not going to know what they're up to. Though he's going to abandon that because he's decided he wants a trading post. So actually, that's not something he can pursue. But 45 XP early on in the game. Just for trying really hard to kill your opponent's explorer is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the more important thing is what you mentioned secondly. I mean, if we take a look, both players obviously want a trading post at this point. Snow's going to get his trading post up, and he may even be rewarded with this.
Can he do it?
With this first
the
pass
guy's going to walk past the XP is going to be, yes, he gets certainly.
It. So, like, that doesn't seem like a very big deal to a lot of people. That's a huge deal. Like, his shipment is already here, and with 29-30% of the next one on the way here as well. So a nice little advantage there for him in that regard as well.
That's true. Extra XP, especially in the German mirror. Your shipments are worth a lot more, than other civilizations, but they're still worth a lot because you get the 2 extra Yolans, or if you're in the Fortress Age, indeed 3 Yolans, extra XP. Yep,
it's certainly good. Another thing that that's also worth mentioning is despite other than the fact that the trading post got up earlier and stuff like that, in these little engagements where you're going to have like 2 Ulans guaranteed running around the map, having your scout alive and able to just like take some of that damage. There'll be the thing where you're fighting 2 Ulans and your explorer versus 2 Ulans and not an explorer. If your 2 Ulans accidentally hit that explorer for 1 or 2 hits, you're going to lose those 2 cav fights, and then from that point forward, your opponent's always going to have like 1 or 2 more Ulans more than you, and as a result of that fact, like, you're always going to be under raid pressure, and especially on a map like Mongolia, where your coin mine might be far away from your base, or there's not a lot of hunts, stuff like that. Having that little kind of an edge as well is something that's very, very worthwhile. So having your scout alive for those purposes as well is definitely something that you have to keep in mind when you're considering scout HP.
Yeah, and that's especially true in the German mirror. The Uhlans have such high hand attack that any time they're not attacking the thing they need to be attacking, it really does, it means a lot. Snow picks up 150 coin, that's not too bad at all, but Musket Jr., nice shout out to that guy, is exceptionally good at micromanaging his Uhlans, and I've seen some crazy things out of him. Just because they do so much damage, and you have to make sure they're actually attacking, or going to try until the villager there doesn't manage to get it. 2 Yolans pop out with the 600 wood shipment. Going to chase down these blue ones, but I don't think they're going to grab them.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see that 700 wood coming for both players. Both players, are they going to be content to stay in Age 2? Like this, maybe...
2 Yolans for free.
Maybe they're both a little gun shy to, pull the trigger and try and Age. I mean, we can see A's is dropping a barracks, and I think we'll see a similar thing from Snow with his 700 wood. Neither player really looking like they're in a huge hurry to try and Age up here at this point.
Yeah. We'll see what he does. Going to start sieging that. Going to force the fight. And Red clearly has more Yolans available, though he can retreat. Calls his Minutemen to fight it as well. I think Red isn't going to stay for much longer unless he thinks, oh, I have so many Yolans that actually I can just tear through these, even though the blue Minutemen are shooting at me. I think that's what he's going to do. Take out all of the Yolans and then get out of there. Actually, no. Going to pursue the Minutemen as well. Of course, they do use the HP over time, so it might be worth considering. But actually, might be able to snipe the Settler Wagon. Definitely hanging around is paying off. What is he up to?
Yeah, he's getting another villager kill. He has to be careful he doesn't overstay his welcome too much. 5 pikes likely going to be coming in a very short amount of time. But that being said, he's done a lot of damage here. He's made all the villagers come off hunts. He's belled his opponent for quite some time. He's forced his opponent to make pikes and not be aggressive with them. All this time I would expect 700 coin going to be coming very shortly for Snow with that slight XP advantage. Or maybe even something like 2 Settler Wagons, hard to say. But then likely going to be able to age off this. We can see his resources really starting to stack up. And I actually wouldn't be too surprised.
Doing some...
Oh, did they
Those Yolans.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice little catch for him. That's actually fairly significant.
Yeah, and it's good, but he's still ahead, so there is certainly that.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Doppelsodners pop out, but are being forced to send them. Is that really what he wants? Probably not.
Certainly not.
No, but this small advantage he secured, as you say, is definitely going to give him. That's all down to managing to pick off a couple of Yolans earlier, and as we pointed out, or you pointed out earlier in the game. Having your scout and just trying to secure that extra advantage, having one or two more Yolans that can result in exactly what we just saw here.
Yeah, and as a result of this, Ace is pretty all in here with this next move. Made 4 more Doppelsodners, has the 3. Obviously, Snow aging at this point has a little bit of a vulnerability. Some villagers caught out here to the north side of the base. There's going to be a small window where maybe he can, siege down a wreck, siege down a stable, siege down some houses, try and get some sort of population advantage or something like that. But the window is going to be very short between, when those 2 shipments of snow are going to be spent. Stuff like 8 skirm, 7 skirm, 9 Ulan are going to come pouring out. And if he fails to just outright win the game with these 7 Doppelsodners.
1 Doppel gonna go down for sure.
Yeah.
But those 3 in the back takes out the barracks and forcing the Minutemen shipment as well. If he'd send that a tiny bit, perhaps he thought, or perhaps he didn't have the resources for it. That's not good. He's lost his barracks. But he is up to the next stage now. He does have that second barracks as well. And certainly those units gonna come out. Minutemen gonna get absolutely wrecked by the area damage there. Sit down, son.
The one cover mode hero Doppelsodner.
There he is. 700 coin has now arrived for Aizamk as well. Perhaps he will be looking to follow him up. That is exactly what he's going to be doing. Has he collected it up already? Good God, that was fast.
Yeah. He had a lot of yaks that he hadn't eaten. He basically ate all of his yaks, right? And then used that to kind of springboard him up. Which is often the case in this particular map.
I absolutely love what Snow's doing here. You normally would never send your cavalry anywhere near Doppelsodners because that is just a silly thing to do. But, snaring them just enough and then encouraging him to just turn around and fight the cav, and that just means that the red Doppelsodners, of which there are more, were able to get into combat and actually just, annihilate them rather than enabling him to get them all the way back to his base. 8 skirms now out for Snow. Going to start seeing what's happening. He is now like an entire shipment ahead, I believe, in terms of like Fortress Age, being in the Fortress Age, which are, or 2. He sent 5 dops, 8 skirms, and Ace only just hit up. Sent 700 coin to achieve it.
He's got another shipment in bank right now, does Snow. I mean, he just sent it. He just went up by 18 pop, so I guess 9 Ulan is what was sent. It's going to be really tough. When those 9 Ulan come out as well. What can he do? Ace is not going to have a barracks. He doesn't have really any food left on the map. There's skirms out already for Snow, and we have to realize that within the next 20 seconds there's going to be 9 more Ulans sprinting their way across the map. How does Ace deal with that? And I don't know that there is a way to deal with that.
He has to pop his unit shipment in a really nice spot, I think, you know, that was okay. I mean, like, he didn't really want to be near the Doppelsodners. I guess that's the concern. Using the town center to bring them down takes the engagement here. Really needs to get rid of the Doppels, and those Doppels are doing a lot of work versus the cavalry. They are now all down, but are there enough Yolan to actually take on these skirmishes? And I think there are, but these 9 cav shipment that you were saying, that's what he sent, and you were right, he did send that. Here it is, going to force him back. The skirmishes, you know, these are arriving just in time to keep the skirmishes alive, and it's tough.
There's no veterancy upgrade for the Ulans though from Snow at this point. There is a veterancy upgrade for the Ulans from A's at this point, so that is something that he does have going for him. If something like 9 Ulans were to pop out in a very good spot, combined with the rest of the Ulans that he has here, maybe a chance that he could be okay. But no, it looks like Snow's got his upgrade coming for his Ulans. He knows how important that upgrade is, and when that upgrade finishes, as it just has, the window's kind of closed now for that Ulan advantage to really be a thing, and it's going to be really tough.
He wants to play it though. He sees the TC going down, building a tower behind his base as a place for his shipment to arrive at, and also to garrison his villages away from the harm of all of these Yolan. 3 more Doppelsodners coming out. The town center has already been tasked on them. He knows that he needs to get rid of this because I think perhaps he's waiting on war wagons. Is that something he's waiting for? And it's just that the war wagons will maybe clear up the veteran Yolan, and if he gets rid of these Doppelsodners, indeed, they can kill off the skirmishes. But having the town center has gone down.
I don't know that there's anything that he is waiting for. Like, he doesn't even have any food. Like, what's 3 war wagons gonna do? Really, not that much against this counter skirms.
Has he got them in queue, or has he got anything in queue? Like, what? No, nothing. This is it. Gonna have to fight. Oh, 3 war wagons. Yeah. So he got the shipment. That's true. I thought he might have had some in his stable being trained, but gonna have to take it using the villages as well, because if he loses this fight, then the game is over. And even if he does win this fight, it's gonna be tough because his economy is certainly going to be behind. His villagers not collecting right now, and indeed has lost quite a few. But using the hit points on the villagers to soak up some of the damage, and of course Snow doesn't want to be killing villagers because he needs to get rid of the DPS, and the villagers don't really do anything. But Aizamk sees that he's lost, wanted to play it out to that last moment. And I think you can see how important those early conflicts can really be, because they give you the ability, 2 extra Yolan to force a fight with all of your opponent's Yolan, if you're sieging down their barracks or something like that. And Snow really nicely played right there. And the score is now 2-1 in Aizamk's favour, but Snow picking it back up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. This is game number 5, I think. 4 in the best of 7 series between Snow and Aizamk. Score is currently 2 to Ace, 1 to Snow.
The other guy. Uh-oh.
The map is Yucatan. And in the north of the map, that's a fairly interesting place to start. You normally start a bit further up than that, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of room to work with in the back of his base.
Or is that completely normal? I'm not even sure right now. There's a lot of room behind his base, though. That is indeed what there is. So, here he is. Germany, playing with 2 wood crates, has started with that, plus your food. And, of course, France going to have a similar start as well, getting the 2 wood. Not too bad at all. Certainly is going to be building markets for both players, indeed. Unless, wait, what is this treasure he has found? 110 wood. Might consider a trading post in a house, then.
That is a huge treasure. What was the guardian he crack shot at? I wasn't paying attention.
It's 3 alligators, I believe.
Okay. Wow, that's an insane treasure. This map has like some really insane treasures. Like there's the 100 food guarded by 2 Caribbean blowgunners as well that sometimes spawns on this map, which is really, really good. There's like the 200, the 100 food guarded by the 2 Jaguars, which is over here.
That's I swear there's another 250 food treasure guarded by 4 Jaguars.
4 Jaguars,
which is actually still quite achievable. It does use a lot of HP, but you can micro that. It's actually reasonable to do.
Can you kill 4 Jaguars with your scout with only 1 crack shot?
I did it as playing the Ottoman against Yumiyu one time. When Yumiyu was very new to the Asian dynasties, I played Ottoman and did a fast revolt, and he just did not see it coming, and it was the funniest thing. There's actually a video of that somewhere in my 1v1 commentary series, but does pick up the 110 wood. Did he build the trading post and then go and get the wood?
That was so ballsy. There's no way I would ever do that. No. He killed all of the guardians and then ran over and built the trading post
and then went picked up the treasure. Like that was.
I don't necessarily think it would have mattered if he'd gotten it up a tiny bit later, because the Travois man has only just walked past, unless that's the second time. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Did he get...
I don't know the time. I don't think he got the XP of it.
Yeah, but still, we could see his intention. That was ballsy, but it paid off for him. Not necessarily what everybody would have done right there, but that is what he did. That is true. Yeah.
He didn't lose the treasure. That's the important part. Still got up the house, didn't get house capped or anything like that. So.
Nope. He's looking pretty good, and didn't have to collect. I mean, like, the French player has done the same thing, but he had to collect 100 wood, and that is going to slow him down in essence.
Yeah.
Wait, Germany really has 80 wood right now.
Yeah. Two really big treasures have been picked up, the 10 wood and the 105 coins. So each player getting themselves a really good treasure here in the early game.
That's, yeah, definitely true. It's a lot of coin. But he has 80 wood in his inventory. Aizamk, what are you going to do with this?
Did he... What was the crate start? It must have been a...
I think perhaps he did collect for some wood.
Yeah,
for his house.
He must have, and then realized that he had that treasure. Got caught a bit in between.
Yeah, but still, saving himself 20 wood there, and that wood is certainly going to be useful later on in the game. Just it is nice to incorporate that into the build early on, though. But Green going to grab himself this treasure down here, which I can't work out what it is. It won't
220 coin.
He's picked up so much coin.
And I want to point out the technique here. He's using this as well, because this is something that low-level players might not be aware of.
Oh, he's got them both in hand combat.
On this particular treasure, or any treasure that's got 3 of the Caribbean blowgunners, or 3 of the guys that shoot in general, if you can wedge your explorer, like they'll rearrange themselves periodically around the treasure, and if you can wedge your explorer in between 2 of them and crack shot the 3rd, you'll get it in such a way that both of the guys that are left alive will be meleeing you, which will result in them doing significantly less damage, and makes picking up treasures like this fairly trivial to do. And so nice little technique there for people who are looking for little tricks on how to pick up a treasure like that. That's certainly something that you can do.
The Caribbean blowgunner, I will point out, does 30 ranged attack, but only 5 hand attack. So it's a huge deal.
It's very low. I mean, he does just a fraction of what he does otherwise, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lots of coin for France, though, and he's about to hit up. Definitely going to be able to get the batch of whatever he chooses to do. I think in this matchup he will start with a stable and maybe then hit up to the fortress age. But we'll... Oh, what is it? 2
vills coming forward. Snow looks like...
2 forward villages.
What's he going to do?
Some Aizamk YOLO swag BS going to be plapping at this. I would have thought a semi-FF.
Yeah, especially with how much free coin he got. I think he's just going to... I bet he just straight out musk rushes. He can essentially afford to, build trading posts and get good market upgrades and build 2 Raxes and get out a huge batch of muskets. He doesn't have to gather any coin for this first batch of muskets, for the first 2 batches of muskets, because of how much coin he got for free in the early game.
That's true, but Blue has seen this barracks, and he's maybe now can accommodate that and isn't going to get caught quite so off guard. But all barracks and a stable, so perhaps playing like standard France, but with the forward buildings instead of the ones in your base here. This is true. He pointed out he got quite a lot of coin. Doesn't have to pay any coin at all, or collect any for his first few batches of units, and that just means every villager he has can be on food.
Yes.
With that steel trap sufficiency. Right now has 2 on coin, so perhaps knows that he does need a tiny bit of extra coin, maybe to queue a cav as well before that whatever it is he's going to be shipping.
And I love the fact that Ace is staying true to his roots. He's doing what I have fondly named the tower build out of him, in which he makes an arbitrary tower on top of his coin mine and attempts to age and ship mercenaries, which obviously is something that would surprise you out of any player except for A's. So, to be fair, that coin mine or that tower is in a really good spot. It's situated right on top of his coin mine, gives him a good spot to escape to there, and has all of his berries encompassed around it as well. So, lots of resources that are protected by that tower. But
yeah, I love how we've now got standard names for Aizamk strats.
Well, it just seems like a straight FF with the caveat of it's randomly always got a tower associated with it. Like,
yeah, at least if he ever does get into like the common like good meta, people will always know that this is an Aizamk Portuguese build or something. Like, no one will ever forget who actually came up with it.
But it's the same as like Samwise's villager dead. Yeah, we got a villager.
Where
right next to the tower, the muskets just.
Oh, yes, I see it there. I was just looking at these Cav, which are now in combat with all of these villagers. Not too good. The 2 Yolan's going to come in. He does have 2 more, of course, has sent 2 shipments, I believe, and that's where he's going to get another villager going to go down there. Certainly 4 Yolan's going to force him away. That's, I guess I'd be scared of 4 Yolans, right?
And
with all those
and this tower is adding some damage. I can see where it does add up. I mean, it does do 30 ranged attack, and it's always shooting. The one thing that we do have to take into consideration in Age of Empires 3 is your town center doesn't shoot unless villagers are garrisoned inside of it. And so, although the town center can do 90 damage, oftentimes it's not doing 90 damage. Oftentimes it's not doing any damage whatsoever because you're trying to gather resources to age. Versus this tower, that although it does have 1/3 of the maximum damage of the town center, is always going to be shooting. So there is that small thing to consider as well. And I mean, when the units are trickling around and running around the town center like that, that damage does add up over time. So
it does, but it costs 250 wood. That is oh god, and it does slow your age up down by quite a lot. And he didn't build any military buildings, and instead built a tower. So. There's always that as well, but certainly it is very useful. Here, the building placements is really nice. Not going to let those cavalry really do anything, and his hunt is run out actually. Ooh, hunt has run out. Is he aging up? He is aged. He's already up. What am I talking about?
Who needs hunt when you can make mercenaries, right?
That's true. You just collect coins.
he's got what he needs. What, are you crazy? He's set. The coin mine is right there.
Yeah, just found 100 food as well. Yeah, he's just gonna
use that to queue up.
Here comes the mercs. Is this really what you think we're gonna be seeing?
I'm very surprised that's a barracks, not
barracks.
not
a saloon.
Yeah, I was really hopeful for a saloon at this point.
Yeah, maybe he wants to. He does have Snow certainly has a lot of resources. Is he trying to get these? Is he queuing up for the age up? So waiting for his 700 coin.
That would. I think that's the likely scenario.
Or is he going to collect the coin? Certainly a lot of villagers.
He's already sent 700 coin, unless it's...
Oh, has he? Oh, yes, I can see that now.
Yeah.
Yes. I had the shipments tab open that entire time. I don't know why that was... There's a lot of cav.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have... Ooh.
This is going to be tough. I mean, it's going to come down to what military shipment is coming for A's. Something like 9 Ulans, or I'm curious as to what it actually is.
Yeah, this Rax looks like it's going to go down. I'm not sure if he can save that one. Even calling his Minutemen here isn't going to be too good. Does force the green units away just by bringing his cav in. You can see green not going to want to take that. Perhaps we're going to see it. No, okay. No military shipment just yet either. Snow is now aging.
Yeah, and this is always the point where this build becomes super awkward for A's. Like, sure, you're aged up. Sure, I mean, this is just an FF versus this kind of semi-FF pressure in general. This is always the issue you run into, is where the other guy's always going to have more economy than you. You're going to kind of get penned up. It's going to be hard to gather resources.
Oh,
but yeah, looks like maybe he's got a chance here to catch him in the trees a little bit.
He's going to catch those musketeers, going to bring them all down, and of course, Yulan do have very low hit points, but certainly, like a boss, pulling them away, going to cause these musketeers to walk around after the units. But actually, Snow, he sees it when one of the Yulans runs away, he actually retasks it to another one, so paying attention to that, but certainly managing to kill all the musks there. I think it was a fair trade, though.
Yeah, and certainly for Snow, when he can trade off some of his weaker muskets and hussar type units, eventually he's going to be wanting to make dragoons and skirms and stuff like that as well. So the muskets and the hussars aren't going to be super useful for him moving forward. So being able to kill off their equivalent value essentially in Ulans is really good for him.
The dragoons pop out just in time. I thought these 8 skirms are going to have a hard time. Certainly they do very well against the veteran war wagons, but those Yolans on top really not going to be Yeah, that's true. Hussars and Musketeers, as you point out, really not too useful at this point in the game. And they're kind of awkward because you can't put them in the control groups for your Skirms and Dragoons either.
It gets a bit awkward.
Trading them off wasn't too bad.
It gets a bit awkward managing all of those different unit types. And I mean, I guess you could say well, Dragoons and Muskets are kind of the same thing. Like they fill kind of the same role, but just like the speed differential and the raid difference, like you mentioned, like putting them in, like controlling them in the same groups is kind of awkward. And certainly trading them off is probably for the best at this point.
Yeah, putting them in like Dragoons and Musks in the same group, that's the bane of my life playing Spain. You're just like, oh god, now all the Dragoons walk at the same speed as the Muskets. Vanilla AOE 3. I guess I should learn to use more control groups though. But at this point in the game, Snow has 28 villagers. Calculator hype in the chat, everybody. I believe Hart just started that up. I'm going to do that 28 times. 1.25, though the calculator hasn't opened because I instead opened Open Office. I do not want to look at my essay right now. So.
Importantly, the more important thing, Jaegers are on the field right now as well. So.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, I did the calculation. It's 35 villagers to Snow, the French player. So he's 3 ahead in terms of economy, which isn't a huge amount, but certainly something to consider. Yeah. Where are these Jaegers?
Just moving up towards the barracks here. They're
they're
kind of about the Lone Rangers, the fearsome 13. They're just roaming the lands of Yucatan.
They are. I'm going to point out to everybody that 13 Jaegers is not the normal ones that you get. How many do you normally get? 9, isn't it? Something like that.
You get extra because
German. You do. You get extra Jaegers instead of Yolans, which is making his mercenary build with this particular civ actually quite good. But at the same time, I guess this civ is more geared towards it. Certainly has... What is that card in his deck? Team or regular? Yeah, improved mercenaries. Hasn't said that just yet, though.
Snow's got a fairly fearsome-looking army here, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, and the 2 cannons. That's going to be tough for Jaegers. Even Jaegers can't deal with that too well.
You know, one thing I've always wondered about Jaegers, you take a look at, their hats. There's certainly, guys that look like they're I don't know, they should belong in a snowy land, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think they're getting a bit warm here on Yucatan, where it's they obviously Yucatan's a very balmy part of the world. You'd think they'd just be sweating. At least they could have some sandals on or something.
Your comments are insightful as always. No, I think that's you. Oh god.
Oh, another one.
And these things, they have 40% ranged resist as well, which just is they want to be taking shots from skirmishers, not cannons, whereas your skirmishers only have 30% range. Is he? Oh, the cavalry coming forward here. The Falcons and skirmishers in a kind of a bad spot there. The cannons are going to get absolutely torn apart by these Yulan, and those skirmishers frantically trying to get away there. They want to get to the back, so of course they're not taking damage from the Yulans. The Yulans do go down pretty quick, though, since there, of course, aren't that many hit points on them.
Yeah.
Not taking out as many skirms as I thought, and actually in a fairly good position. I thought that was rather hard for him.
That was good unit control, in that big mass by Snow to be using his Dragoons effectively. Didn't panic, was able to, continue to task the right units onto the right units. And at the end of the day, won that fight fairly convincingly, despite the fact that, as you mentioned, I actually thought A's got his cav into a fairly fabulous position at the start of that fight. Yeah. But it just wasn't.
I thought he had.
It just wasn't enough to eat away at the discrepancy and just raw military power at this point in the game that Green has established.
That's true. Yeah. But further to your point about the Jaegers, I think there was a picture of a Jaeger in the color red around Christmas time on the official Age of Empires Facebook page. They certainly do look like they're wearing festive hats.
They're very festive little dudes. See if we can find one, zoom in on him. There he is.
Are you Googling Jaegers now? Whoa, there's 3 cuirassiers right next to his skirmisher mass. No, they're going to get away. They don't want nothing to do with their war.
Those curves popped up right on top of the Jaegers when I was zoomed in on the Jaegers and scared.
You're like, whoa, gee.
It's a massive man on a cavalry.
They are pretty big guys, yeah.
Big dudes.
Oh, those cuirassiers. Yeah, but at this point, he's blue. Still hunting.
They also have festive hats, or hats of some sort.
What the cuirassiers? Why are we looking at this?
They've all got interesting hats, except for the skirmishers. Their hats are not so interesting.
No, you don't like the skirmisher hats. Oh, but there is a fight bringing those Yulans straight in there. I'm not too sure about this. I mean, those cuirassiers are en masse very strong against other cavalry due to area damage, and cavalry always fight, pretty up quite close. The 2 war wagons going down, and those skirms are like, nope, I want to get out of there.
I mean, I think this game is slowly coming to an end. Ace is kind of running out of steam. He sent 3 war wagons, 13 Jaegers, 8 skirm, 9 Ulan. Certainly
Whoa, get wrecked.
The strength of his push is past at this point. Well, what's this vil count? Why is the vil count so low? Snow's vil count.
What? It is very. We were talking about villages and hats and things. There must have been some.
Some sort of huge raid while we were discussing the villager hat or the Jaeger hats.
Yeah. I was gonna move it on and say that green has plenty of hunts, looking pretty good, lots of resources. Blue's hunting still a little bit, but it's quite far out, and that it must have happened, but
I still don't know if you can kill this army, though, to be perfectly fair. Like, just the military discrepancy. Unless, well, maybe, I guess, 8 Ulan comes out and gives him maybe a somewhat of a chance. Oh, he's going to lose lots of bills here, though.
Yeah, it's going to go back down. I don't know what that raid, when it was, but it's going to nullify it right here. It's tough. More villages is good, yeah, but if they can't collect because your opponent's military is standing on top of your hunt, then you just it's pretty
then you traditionally lose, especially now that he doesn't have
traditionally lose.
Well, we've seen some oddball situations.
We certainly have.
But the important thing that I'm going to mention right now is Germany doesn't have a coin mine, and with how much resources the Jaegers and Ulans and Skirms and just general German units in the Fortress Age cost.
Black Riders popping out. Is that what he needed, though? There aren't really a huge amount of cavalry left. Certainly going to use those to take out the cuirassiers, but a very big power spike indeed. 1,000 coin does get you 13 Black Riders, or is it 9? Something like that. More than normal. But it's still looking pretty tough. I mean, this is what he needed to stand a chance. Yeah. Some sort of really powerful shipment. But there are a lot of green skirmishers, and those things do ×2 versus ranged cavalry such as Black Riders. Aizamk sees it there, GG. But holding out until just showing us that last shipment of his, wants to show us what he was up to all this time, and there it was.
I have to look at the Vilgraph and see this massive raid.
That's the first thing you did, I would imagine.
Oh, there was a huge raid. Went from 33 CDBs to 23, lost 10 CDBs in a raid.
If we scroll up in the chat, someone's going to be like... Oh, we're going to see it on the mini.
There's already one guy. Zeke 1905 666 says they missed the big raid.
I thought we were doing such a good job. I thought we were like filling some of the time with the banter about
hats, and then apparently
we're just terrible casters.
We're that PR18 guy who wants to be casting, and it's just completely focusing on the wrong things.
Oh, what have we done?
Oh, well.
A pretty good game, though. I enjoyed that. We did miss the raid.
But
we did miss.
We have an even series here. 2 games apiece all of a sudden.
2 games to 2. Aizamk takes the first 2. Snow taking the second 2, bringing it back up. Going to go into the next game. It's not the final. It's not the decider. Each player still has 1 more loss before they are... Well, 1 more... They both need 2 wins. That's way more easy to make you understand. There is that. But those in the VOD, see you all in just a moment.
One of the guys came into your spot and made the inter-erection joke.
Interaction. Interaction is the best. Yeah, that was so... I think I told you the story, but I haven't told the stream the story, have I? So...
Yeah.
Okay, alright. I guess this is something that I have to actually get out there at some point. Alright, so...
Story time.
I was streaming on my own channel. I was playing Age of Empires. And people, this is within the first couple of weeks at uni, I was some random Wednesday that I don't have to do anything on. I have to study on Wednesdays, of course. But, so people are have you met anyone who plays Age of Empires? And I think, that's a funny story, actually. Because literally, I met, the only person I've met who plays Age of Empires was this girl that I met in a bar. we were doing like a pub quiz, and like we sat with her and her friends, and I don't know, it was I literally said like I said something like the only person I met who plays Age of Empires is some cute Norwegian girl because she's Norwegian, and then just the chat exploded with Interjection has arisen. Hashtag Interjection. It was and it wasn't like that. There was nothing between us. It was just, oh, okay. What have I done? The internet. So Comet K says, cute Norwegian girl who plays AOE 3. Perfect match, apparently.
Yep.
Turns out I did get to know her pretty well. She's never played it competitively, like on ESO or anything, but like she knows like how to play.
H2O says no one gets between the Interjection and it's so good.
It's funny because she actually watched like 2 of my videos when she found out I made YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was actually around here like 2 weeks ago. Do you remember when I said I had company? She was like sitting at the back like doing an essay whilst
was she impressed by your vast Age of Empires 3 knowledge? Getting all hot and bothered.
Yeah. No, she certainly wasn't.
Oh my god, are those organ guns?
She was one of my friends, and it's only ever been that way. Just pointing that out to people in the chat. So she's actually one of my closer friends.
The stream needs to come with a PG-13 rating.
Does it? Why is it? Oh right, because of the chat.
Well, we escalated slightly. Usually we try and keep it pretty G-rated. But now we've got like love Age of Empires 3 love triangles and stuff involved.
People are saying marry her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. This is game number 5, maybe. Yeah?
Yeah.
What have I done wrong?
No, you're fine. I'm just reading the chat. It's hilarious.
I want to read the chat, but we're casting now. I'm gonna read it anyway. Sorry, guys.
H2O says just let her know you're a general and you have 3 medals for Germans in the win ladder and you're golden.
What the hell? Okay, I'm now gonna put the
so true.
I'm now gonna put the whole story time bit into the VOD just to contextualize this. I want to read the chat. I really do.
So funny. All right, we're in game.
Me and her were just friends. There was never anything else. So here we have in the south of the map. That took a really long time to load. I do not know why.
Yeah.
We do indeed have Aizamk playing as indeed the Russians. Here he is. On High Plains of all maps, certainly a new map. This is a map made by Gaia. It is essentially Great Plains, except the trading route is, as you can see, quite different. This makes it fairer and possibly more balanced as well, but that's essentially... Oh, there's also these random, the kind of little hills you get on Texas, which is certainly adds some nice terrain to the map. You could use them, I guess, like it could happen. You could use them to your advantage if you want to take a fight in a particular area. This is a really open map, but with these on it, it makes it slightly less open. I guess you could,
I can see a situation where there'd be like skirms or something standing on this hill where it would be really good, right? Like really advantageous.
Yeah. You push your skirms into the corner, especially with those trees there. It's really quite nice.
Yep. Definitely a situation that could happen, so...
That is true. I think... But an 80 wood treasure down there for Aizamk. Not too bad at all. Certainly going to be quite happy about that. Pick that up.
I don't think he has his crack shot available just yet, though.
No, but I think he's going to be able to get that one bear to run away from him if he walks back slow. Oh, no, he does have the crack shot.
He has the crack shot. Good.
He does have it. There it is. Perhaps he was just waiting for it just to recharge for it on its last couple of moments before it came off cooldown. But 80 wood, really, really quite nice. Ooh. And India going to grab himself a native scout.
Yeah,
oh, a little bit of conflict over it. Here comes in India. Very low hit points. Anyone could get this. They both go down. I think India went in there just first.
No. It was A's. That's a situation. I do want to mention this because this is kind of an important thing. With the Indian scout, they have that like special passive ability called Stomp, which like every once in a while they'll randomly like stun everything around them with their auto attack. And if you realize that you've lost the treasure and you're trying to fight for a treasure in a situation like that, what you should immediately start doing with your Indian scout is start attacking the opponent's scout in hopes that you can get one of those stomps, because if you stomp him while he's picking up the treasure, it will reset his animation, and you actually have a pretty good amount of time to get in there and steal that treasure once again for yourself. So
pro tips with ZutaZuta, you might end up on the channel with exactly those words. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's really,
well, I guess I knew
really
that, just I didn't really consider it.
Yeah, it's a really good little thing really good way that India can build an advantage gathering treasures early in the game.
Yeah, and I guess that's quite nice, because it's difficult for India sometimes to get some of the treasures, because they are indeed they struggle against treasures which all have a lot of melee units, like a lot.
Yeah, or
I mean, you can't kite. Like,
there's no kiting with India, right? I mean,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, precisely. There's no way for them to use a range advantage of any sort. So anything that has, like, just in general really strong guardians, like lots of strong guardians, there's no way. Like even like the 10 monkey treasure that guards like the 195 food on Himalayas and the 205 food on Siberia, like they can't take those treasures just because of that fact as well.
They can, however, grab these settler treasures quite convincingly, like just absolutely steamroll all the guardians. That's the extra area damage that you have on those units really coming into play there. You can get all the weak wolf treasures. It's not too bad at all.
Yep.
Picking himself up, the villager.
Ooh, and look at this. Look at the Agri-Fort positioning. I really like this.
Agri-Fort on top of this this funky whatever it is.
And it's really good, because like if you consider the Agri-Fort, because it's so big, it has a lot of surface area and area around it to attack. But now, like, the surface area that's available to attack has been like really constricted and kind of like almost cut in half, just because like there's no longer this attack angle on the right hand side of it, so it's going to be really awkward to get into it. So I actually really like that Agri-Fort placement. That's
true. Where my cursor is, for the benefit of the people in the VOD, like, you can't get around. You can only get here because the wall is like, it's literally cut in half. It's
going to be really easy to like pop out a batch of Gurkhas behind that and use like the wall and stuff. You're so
true. Like, the Gurkhas come out where my cursor is, then I'm sure like Zuta knows where my cursor is, and then like they shoot at the whatever's sieging it or whatever they like, and the units can't get around. They'd have to send the cav or whatever it is all the way around the Agri-Fort. Yeah, positioning means so
really
much.
Tough. Yeah, it's a really good Agri-Fort placement, I think. Could have been maybe over a tile or two, just so it extends a little bit closer to the native post, just restrict that a little bit more. But in general, it also covers so much hunt over here on the left side of his base and stuff as well. It's going to be really, really good for him.
That's true. But Russia has got his blockhouse up, has indeed gone for a trading post, and has just hit up to the colonial age. Blockhouse going up in his base as well. 2 blockhouses quite early on. Is he going to have I mean, I've read one of Goodspeed's build orders in his guide, it's perfectly okay to go with the 2 blockhouses. Initially, you don't manage to get so many units out using both of them, but you do need 2 blockhouses at some point, and getting them both out early is what he recommends doing.
But I'm pretty sure that sort of build requires you to not ship 5 Cossacks as your first card?
You start with 700 wood, actually.
Yeah, and then 700 coin, I think would be the natural follow-up. I don't know that you're going to be, I mean, there's going to be a long time.
You start with 700 coin, actually.
Yeah.
And you collect
nothing. It's going to be a long time before he's able to make anything out of 2 blockhouses.
But he did just take out 2 vills, I think.
Yeah, certainly, and that's certainly really strong. I mean, obviously one of the big weak points of India on open maps is the fact that they are a little bit more susceptible than some other civs to early raiding. And so a good job by A's to kind of expose that weakness and get some villager kills here in the early game while the Sepoy count is still low and he's trying to establish himself around the map.
That's true. And 5 cav, that's an extremely strong shipment, like, for Russia. It makes the 6 cav in the Fortress Age look bad when actually it's not. It's just 5 cav is worth, 5 Cossacks, 750 resources, and that's a unit shipment. Like, normally unit shipments are slightly weaker because you get it's such a good shipment. But 2 blockhouses is interesting to see it, but certainly getting some villager kills, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, and I mean, a second blockhouse is never going to be bad. It's definitely securing this right side of the map. Like, look at all the hunt and stuff that's over there. That's certainly going to be something that is going to be beneficial to him. He's definitely helping cover his trading post, giving him the availability to ship, units and stuff to that location should he need to at any point. So, certainly not bad for him in that regard.
And has sent the 700 food shipment as well. And that's going to give him the extra resources he needs, or the extra food he needs. Of course, quite food intensive to be making batches of 5, whatever it is you want to get out of these blockhouses. Can actually use both of them now with that 700 food shipment for a short period of time. But then as the economy will innately, catch up, and he'll be able to definitely use both. But 700 food followed by 700 coin. This is where the Musks are going to start streaming out.
Yeah, and this is where he's really going to build himself a nice little military advantage. One thing we do have to consider, though, is the fact that he only has a fixed number of cav at this point, no stable with this build whatsoever. So the Gurkha count here is something he's going to want to keep in check early in the game, just so that he doesn't get kited to death by all these Gurkha, and he has to be kind of careful about that.
He really does. If these cav go down, of which, as you pointed out, he's not going to be making any new ones, then the skirmishes, the Gurkha more to the point, are going to be quite overwhelming, since all he can make is infantry. Has only got 3 cav yet. I don't think he wants to take that, since of course the centuries, or the irregulars, whatever they're called, were just called. But the 3 Gardener Hussars, they would be guard, but they're actually a mixture between guard and veteran, have just arrived now, going to pursue him down. I think he's going to need a couple of extra units, maybe a unit shipment as well, though I don't think he's got, certainly doesn't have one. Oh, actually, I think one's on the way, 14% exp. He's okay. He's not pursuing him anymore. He got away. I thought we were going to see a fight around this blockhouse, and
maybe could have been a chance that could have worked out.
But then Red doesn't have as many units as I thought he did.
Yeah, you'd have to be concerned about like 4 Cossacks popping out around that blockhouse or something like that, which could swing the fight fairly heavily, especially when India is in a position where he's playing India. He's done a decent economic build. He doesn't really need to force anything at this point. He's got Ottoman consulate. He's got decent upgrades. He's worked his way up to like professional hunters. If we take a look at the upgrades tab, I mean, steel traps just now starting for Aiz. So in terms of actual improvements, he's fairly far behind. I mean, Snow's been working with flume and ditching now since the 6.5 minute mark of the game. So he's got a really strong economy, although he did lose a few villagers. His economy is certainly not weak in any regard, and if he can just hold out, eventually he becomes age 2 India, and he's got a really strong timing available to him. So
that's true.
No need to over pursue there and get caught and lose your units.
It might be a bit reckless.
Yeah,
that's definitely. Like, if you get caught out, and as you mentioned, that 4 Cossacks actually. I thought he had more units than he did, but like you really do want to play. You've got plenty of hunt. You don't need to go and get any more. And as you can say, nice economy. True. What's Russia looking for? Except these 3 Gardener Hussars that he's chasing down.
Yeah, this is kind of awkward for Russia, and I mean, this is just kind of Russia's maybe weakness in general. Like, anytime you try and age, it feels like you're behind. I feel like if you don't get like some sort of like really good trade in the early game with Russia, you feel like you're behind. And he killed a couple villagers. I mean, he's ahead in vills right now. He's slightly ahead in military count, but this just feels awkward for Russia. Like, what Russia needs to be doing against India is trading his cheap spammy units for the more expensive, not so spammy units of India, and get ahead in some sort of mass advantage, and then just kind of steamroll that into eventual, like, I'm going to wear you down. But with the positioning of the aggro, how much hunt is left in the base, and the fact that this map comes with 2 coin mines just innately, it's really hard to wear your opponent down, and I don't know that he's going to be able to wear his opponent down. And I think we're just going to get into a situation where like maybe 5 more sours are going to pop out. The India player hits the go button, and like basically Russia's military is just going to melt. I mean, it's maybe not quite that simple, but at this point in the game, there's nothing really that scares me as the India player against the Russian player.
No, it's definitely India does get very, and they have the Gurkha and the what is it, the Dragoon equivalent as well. India, just India.
Samurais. Yeah, it is going to be tough. I mean, one thing he has going for him is he does have the trading post that is helping him slightly. He does have the cav out roaming around the map, is trying to get some raids. So if he can get some raids,
the Zambaraks, oh god, yeah. Oh, you see these three. You're pointing at those. Yeah, definitely. Could get some villagers there. He has these cav were sort of roaming around as well, but they got forced back by the Zambrek. But you know, okay, India looking pretty good. But at this point, scores are completely even. Ace does have a villager lead, and the military count is even, though of course Russia's military certainly is a lot weaker.
Yeah, and just the composition here is so much better as well. Like the fact that he's got Zam, Gurkha, and some Sepoy in the mix versus like the kind of weaky, not so good.
But Boyers has just arrived. Insane shipment.
Yeah,
isn't really enough good. Though? It's like the veterancy upgrade on his Strelets and Cossacks. Like it's that good. It's 15% on both for attack and hit. Absolutely incredible shipment that for Russia. I think this is where perhaps maybe he's waiting on one final batch of something and then he's gonna fight. But India gotten to the point where he wants to push out.
India's ready to fight here, and I mean...
We have seen crazier things happen, though.
Yeah. 4 Cossacks definitely going to help in this fight, though. And as I mentioned, Strele in the Russian Musts are really good at effective trading, so the longer he can prolong these fights, the better for him.
Yeah, and that's a lot of Cossack that he just brought out. Fortunately, though, they are for the red player not in combat with the Gurkha just yet. Using the cavalry and the Sepoy to block them, whilst the Zambraks in the back can get those times 3.5 damage multiplier out, calling the Minutemen from the Ottoman consulate. Russia, though, seems to be pushing him back, but he has run out of Cossacks, though, so I'm not quite sure how much longer he's going to be able to push.
Yeah, this is kind of what Russia wants to do, though. Like he is wearing him down to a degree. I mean, if he can maintain, some sort of military advantage, he's gotten the Ottoman Minutemen, like you mentioned, already to be called. He did eliminate quite a few of the Sepoy and the Gurkha, killed a lot of the Zams as well. So, it hasn't like hit the point where he's broken his back or anything trying to defend this location. Blockhouse still has adequate HP associated with it. There's no immediate threat of dying or anything like that, and that's the kind of trade right there that we just saw that Russia absolutely wants. Now, ideally, he would have been forcing fights like that and having trades like that from the get-go, from very early on in the game, from the 7-8 minute mark in the game, but wasn't something that he was able to do. But that is the kind of trade he wants, and now the longer he can go, I mean, he's got Boyers, he's got still some unit shipments available to him. If he can continue to wear down India like that and not allow India to age and get to the point where he's got stuff like Urmi and stuff like that, then that's where things start to look a little bit better for the Russian player. And we can see how quickly he has remassed his units here. Definitely something that's a bit scary for the India player to consider.
Sorry, I was coughing violently. Keep going.
Are you going to be all right? I can just imagine like you muted your mic and you're just like dying over there, but
that's exactly what was happening. But I don't like coughing on stream. Like I've got the mute button right next to me, so I might as well.
Might as well do it.
That's true.
These have been good fights for Russia so far, and as long as he can keep the game in Age 2, the longer this game goes in Age 2, and the longer he can continue to abuse the fact that Strele and Musket in Age 2 are really efficient at trading, the better it's going to be for him.
And, of course, the Russian town center does make your villages significantly quicker, actually. I believe every 50 seconds it makes 3 villages, which 50 seconds normally you'd get... 2 villages normally. So you get an extra villager every 50 seconds because of the way... And they cost 10 food less each. So over time, that certainly is a bonus Russia has as well.
Yep. And one thing, I'm a bit concerned why the Zams or the Savars rather haven't just been kind of run in here. There's definitely been an opening here. He's finally going to run in with the Savars.
And we see the Strelets now going to get back. They don't want to take the damage from the cavalry. The Musketeers going to try and get and wedge themselves in between. Or they should be. They haven't actually, but they're certainly denying the Sours on this side of the blockhouse from getting close. Going to use the cavalry to try and deal with the Sours as well. But Sours are really efficient against light infantry. They do have a 1.5 damage multiplier where Hussars do not. Though having said that, not quite so good against Musketeers, which is what a lot of them are fighting.
Yeah, and I mean this is hard to say. Things, India definitely, like, I guess not winning the fight, which is kind of what Russia wants. I mean, the more fights that go like this, the more fights that continue to, just kind of stall out and be even in nature, the better it is for Russia. And we're kind of seeing that now. There is also, the one thing to consider, that India has not sent any of the camel combat cards. I'm not sure if he has them in his deck. I'm going to check right now. Certainly does have, at least one of them does have camel attack, does not have desert terror in his deck, so that will not be available to him. But there's that camel attack coming now. Certainly going to help beef up his camels, but I don't know, like these are the kinds of fights that Russia wants to keep taking, and we can see Snow's resource count fairly low. He doesn't have a lot of resources, isn't going to be able to age or anything like that anytime soon.
And the hunts are running out. He's going to go and he's starting to hunt down here. But there is a blockhouse, at least queued, and we see the villagers about to come and build that. They're going to see these red units, and does he have any cost? He does. He could send a couple of those over there, and he's really going to have to fight over food.
And look at how much Hunt still is back in this corner here for A. He's done a good job securing off that side of the map. He's got some walls up. He's got multiple blockhouses over here. He's got, 3 blockhouses covering this area, so doesn't really have to worry about, even if he were to lose one of these blockhouses, say this blockhouse were to fall, lots of blockhouses still available. And I don't know, Snow has to be a little bit concerned because he is, as you mentioned, running out of resources. He's not close to aging. It looks like maybe he's trying to save to age at this point, but that if he has to save to age for too long, could just run into a situation where 600 Russian Strelay march on top of your Hunt, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you don't want that. But was trying to deny the blockhouse, didn't. Managed to get it up.
Yeah, he managed to get it up. Has he sent... no, okay, I was going to say that would be a really weird card to have. Your blockhouses build faster. I think it's called Vestibule.
I cannot even see A sending that. But... yeah, I think you're right. He is stacking up the resources to try and age up here, and Russia now going to push in before he's even got that button in age. I think he might consider training units now instead of aging up. This is exactly what Russia wants. They love drawn long out colonial games for all the reasons you've been mentioning. Really cost effective units, especially after Boyers has been sent, and that villager bonus they get. Really like the long colonial wars. This
10 Tiger Claws here, interestingly enough, are going to be pretty good in this situation against this Minestrale.
They're essentially cavalry, 15 damage multiplied by 2 versus infantry, though they do half damage versus heavy infantry, which will be musketeers. So they're going to be trying to kill off the Strelets here. We'll see what he can do. That does bolster his cavalry count by quite a lot there. And I think actually India has a very large army, though, having said that there are a lot of Cossacks on this side that have not even got involved yet. Perhaps, Aizamk trying to lure him in, trying to get him out of position. Look at me, look at that many units, and then bam, all the Cossacks coming out of nowhere. And I think that's exactly what he's managed to do, actually. There are a huge amount of Sepoy there, has been focusing them down with the Strelets, and now these Cossacks should be able to do quite a lot of damage to the Gurkha, though the positioning is good. They're definitely nowhere near.
Everything is just kind of like smashed in there. And this is once again going really good for Russia. He's getting a good trade. He's just killing stuff. I mean, even if he loses most of his army here, he's already established what he wants. He's killing units, he's getting good trades, and he's keeping India from aging. All this time, Snow has been sitting on kind of like an arbitrary amount of resources, like 800 coin, or 800 food, 500 coin, like right in between, like, should I age, should I make units? Never really pulling the trigger either way. And just continuing to get these good trades with all the Strelay, all the Cossacks. And this is precisely what the doctor ordered in this situation for the Russians. Yeah, this is just what he needs. This is just what he needs.
That's true. And all this time, still gathering food really far out here, and there is a blockhouse up, and he has to fight over food now. Like he has to. He has to go and Strelet's now coming out. It's forcing him away. This is the tide's turn from a really awkward start. He's had India definitely, perhaps. As the game goes on, Russia gets stronger and stronger. Certainly a good civ. Though having said that, these are... Oh no, they're not. They're Zambreks. Sorry, I saw the cavalry. Sours.
If it was 4 sours, it would have been really good. But we can see the the reaction from Snowww is to basically send everything he has over here to try and defend these villagers, and meanwhile the rest of Aze's army is free to move into the fairly soft underbelly of what remains in Red's home base, which is not an awful lot. We can even see, look at this, we've even got a rice paddy that's been built in. Traditionally, when one side is building rice paddies and one side is still free to hunt, we all know how that usually ends.
Yeah, you don't want to be spending 400 wood on a gathering source that is more slow. You fall behind because you build it, you fall behind because you're gathering from it. Yeah, that's definitely... There's one thing... Wow, this fight. I guess this is... It's just a mess, all these units everywhere. But Russia certainly has the advantage.
But that's what Russia wants, right? The more chaos that they can force, the more like awkward little skirmishes where they can just like trade 10 Strele for 5 Gurkha here and there. Like that's perfectly what Russia wants. That's exactly what Russia wants.
Yeah.
It's just to have awkward trades and ooh, look at this. He's even identified the coin mine over here, building a blockhouse on top of it, and even sending off a little bit of his infantry force to kind of to add a little bit of damage as well.
Yeah, I mean, White like stop them gathering, possibly kill them, definitely force him away. It is now a little bit awkward for Russia in the sense that Gurkhas do have a much longer range than anything Russia has, and he doesn't have any cavalry to sort of deal with them, so he's just going to get kited all day long until some cavalry turn up. But at the moment, he's in range of those Gurkhas. Pretty good.
It doesn't really matter. He's just going to win on sheer mass at this point. He's got stuff guarding over here. And there are no resources left on the map for Snow. There's no coin mines. All of the remaining natural resources have been monopolized essentially by blue infrastructure. And at this point, I don't know that there's that much that Snow can do to get back into the game. I think he's effectively drawn dead here. There's really nowhere for him to progress from here. Never was able to get aged up.
It's the sandwich, the Strelet sandwich. There it is. Get me one of those, chef.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's going to lose the Agra Fort, and with that, I think the game.
And he's sending things like riding school now and food silos for lack of anything else that he can send. His deck is running dry. This game has been colonial for quite a long time, and indeed, that is sometimes the reason. Adds to the reason you might want to age up, so you have access to more shipments. The blockhouse now going to go. Sorry, it's an Agra Fort, but you can see why I call it a blockhouse. I say this all the time. I don't know.
It's a great big building.
It's a great big block. The thing is, on my stream, people are like, why are you standing under the Agra Fort? It's like, well, it's not actually that bad. I mean, okay, fine, you shouldn't stand under it, but it's not. It's a blockhouse. Sorry, I called it a blockhouse.
And hopefully, there we go. I was gonna say, hopefully the game doesn't drop. I mean, it's fairly decided at this point, to be perfectly fair, but
yeah. There it is. That's quite a lot of Strelets, and they are weak to Sours, but that is quite a lot of Strelets. What is going on right now?
I don't know. It's not me, I don't think.
It's not me. I have 60 FPS right now. I'm not even streaming. Actually, that's enough Sour. Do you think to clear that up?
There's some muskets in there as well. Like the muskets are not really being controlled all that well.
Yeah, they are now. They've gone into. He's pressed the A move. I think though, he's still gonna. He's got 64 villagers, and he's just gonna replace them. But Age of Empires 3, he's the one of the few Age of Empires games actually where rice paddies or mills and stuff aren't a thing that you like immediately or you start thinking about transitioning into. It's always there's no hunt, I better build those. Whereas in Age of Mythology, Age of Empires 2, you start collecting wood, you start adding in the farms. That's something staying on hunts all game long isn't a thing that happens.
Yep. But well secured by the Russian player. He did a very good job of securing the map and doing the little things that he needed to do to win. So, well played by him.
Well played by him. There it is. And the start was a bit rough, and it came back. Now 3-2. There it is. Why didn't you age? Yeah. I was thinking, like, Russia likes staying colonial. He was
trying to. He was always at, like, 800 food, 500 coin. He was just, like, always 700 resources short of aging. And you could tell that he really wanted to age for most of the game. He just wasn't able to quite get there and wasn't able to quite pull the trigger and get there. I think he was a little hesitant at times to age just because like, the Russian mass, but at some point he does have to find himself aged up. Obviously, you can't play for 25 minutes in colonial against Russia. That's that is with almost every civ, maybe barring Japan, maybe Brits too, you're going to lose eventually in colonial against Russia. They're just going to out-trade you, they're going to make more villagers than you, and they're going to have better shipments than you.
Yep, I agree. If you force Russia to age up, though, that's good. They're really awkward. Russia doesn't... upgrading their units, they have to do that. They don't get the skirmishers for free, the veteran like every... So I guess there's that, and it's tough to fight them in colonial. Did a good job, Aizamk, there, of keeping them down. But I'm going to end my recording there, and we will get into the next game in just a moment.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Best of 3.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. This is a second Smackdown. I believe Snow, being in Germany, it got quite late for him. It's quite late there. Right now it's midnight for me, so it's actually 1 a.m. for him. So he wasn't able to finish the series. Aizamk did win though. He was actually ahead on score, so I guess it wasn't like, oh, it's a draw, and I'll leave now. But it was a good series. I did enjoy that. We had some really nice games, actually. Yeah. But for your guys' pleasure, guys's, that's an interesting pronoun. Being a linguist, that does that. Wow. I'm not going to go on a linguistic adventure right now. I'm going to concentrate on AOE 3. We do have Aizamk in the south of the map with the color blue, playing as China. Here he is. Those scouts now going to head off looking for those goats. Going to head straight towards the middle. I believe, I think he's fixed that. I'm not sure if you've got the updated version, but usually that 90 wood treasure always spawns in the middle there. I think Guy has changed it so it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, I see that. I was actually just scanning for that, and the only treasure I see in the middle is this 80 coin treasure.
There aren't actually any good treasures except that 80 coin, or any substantial treasures. They're all just like random 40, 50 wood sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
there's nothing wrong with 40 wood.
No.
40 wood certainly.
You don't turn your nose up to that as any civ. And Maito does manage to pick it up. Here he is in the north of the map in the colour blue, playing as indeed the Aztecs. Certainly that 50 wood going to get him his hunting dogs. Not too bad. Not going to have to collect that. Going to be pretty happy about it. This is a matchup. The next matchup will be decided by the chat in a straw poll. But this one I do not think you see very often. China versus Aztec. Going to be really interesting. What do you think of this?
I don't know like what either player does in this matchup. I guess Aztec plays aggressively and tries to keep China from aging is the only thing that makes sense, just because China is always best when they're FFing. And if Aztec can play aggressively, with their really good shipments, 10 mace, 6 puma, stuff like that, and just kind of keep China from either aging or at least cut down their strength in their age efficiency, then they're probably best off. So I think I expect to see something fairly aggressive out of Aztecs, but I don't know that I really have enough knowledge on this matchup to have. Yeah. I mean, if I were just blindly playing this matchup as the Aztecs, I think I would want to be aggressive. Just because knowing that China is best in Age 3, I would want to try and keep them out of Age 3 as much as possible. But
China's scary in Age 3. They very strong, and I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, you could play some sort of... Aztec pretty good in Colonial, can have a nice boom going, certainly with the warrior priests, but... then China just steamrolls in.
And then China's just going to get to Age 3 at 7.5 minutes, ship 11 Chengdaos, 10 arquebusiers, and then...
just have that massive power spike that's really, really awkward to deal with.
Yeah, so that's what Aztec is effectively looking to avoid at this point. And whether or not he can successfully do that will probably determine the outcome of the game. Because if China can get to the third age, although this is A's, I mean, nobody knows what he's going to do. Most normal Chinese players would probably just try and do some sort of fortress-based play. But the few times I've seen him play China, he's village rushed, putting a village really far forward and then shipped units to it and stuff like that. So it's impossible to know what he'll do. I'm curious to see what he'll do, actually.
He did build two villages. Did he not have enough wood, really, to afford that without having to collect an obscene amount and delay his age up?
And that's normal, right?
Oh, he did have enough wood.
China always starts with 300.
Okay, so he would have gathered 100 wood for that, so it's not a huge slowdown. I thought perhaps he built an extra village. I wasn't sure how much wood he did start with. and that he might.
China
have
always
something
starts with
different.
300 wood. It's actually a fixed start
Oh, is it? Okay.
for China. 100% of the time you'll get 300 wood.
I feel like China would be a civ I'd enjoy. Being, like, I've said it before, like, my main is Spain on vanilla. What does that say about me? I don't know. But I did enjoy the Fast Fortress. And
you could be Attic 2.0. There was this guy back when I used to play actively who was like around my PR, and all he did was play China and FF every single game.
And then you got to that rank just doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
If you do one thing well, I mean, fair enough. But it's counter. It's by no means the strongest, but it's certainly pretty good.
It is good. I mean, there are counters to it, but you do have to play like effectively against it to counter it, right? Like you have to be good at playing pressure. You have to like know the correct points to pressure. Like you can't be sloppy with your play. Like you have to know what you're doing and have to pressure effectively. But it looks like, strangely enough, we're going to see standard play out of Ace here. He's gathering coin.
Summer Palace going down.
Summer Palace going down, and I'm thinking that things are looking fairly standard for him. I think we'll probably see some sort of straight FF out of him.
Consulate coming down. Yeah, true. 700 wood start for Maito. See what he does with that.
Did he age up fast? What politician did he age with? Yeah, he did. So he's doing a fairly standard reaction, I think, to this. Did age up fast. Because he is Aztec, he is going to have that little bit of extra XP trickling in from the fire pit. So he's going to have his second shipment available slightly faster than most normal civs would, meaning that he can, afford to age up at 3 minutes and 54 seconds and have that 700 wood immediately ready to go and in the queue. So certainly that's going to be good for him.
Yeah,
going to allow him to get some housing down and establish his infrastructure and stuff. So
it's a good shipment. It's a solid one. A lot of civs like to start with 700 wood because it's such a slow gathering resource that you don't want to gather it. So there's that incentive. But also, as you say, you get down all of the houses and the infrastructure that you want. Certainly has a war hut and is starting with coyote runners. Okay, so going to be running in here. Going to try and do some. Wait, 3 disciples. No, that's completely normal.
Yeah,
sorry,
disciples are fine.
Yeah,
Ace is doing this like kind of strange consulate FF business.
Didn't we see this before? I
think. And I called it bad, and I'm pretty sure that it still is not very good.
I think
like
he won the game with it though. Oh no, I don't know it for sure.
This was the last game we saw someone play China. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I understand why people do it. You get your consulate up, but.
And then you use the French consulate, I believe, to send.
Then you use the French consulate to send like 500 coin and then age up. So you don't.
Coin, yeah.
Yeah, but why not just send 700 coin instead of 300 export and have that coin immediately? I don't know. I don't know that I think he's just slowing himself down here slightly and giving the Aztec player a slightly larger window to hit him and just like devastate his town.
Grenadiers coming out though. What a pro. The problem with these is they're really not that good against cavalry, which is essentially what coyote runners are. I'm not sure what he has in mind, honestly. That's fairly interesting, and it's not what he needs to be aging up. Does not have the age up in queue.
He will soon, though. I mean,
yeah, I guess they don't cost any. They don't cost resources. They cost export, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess from behind this wall though.
I love the wall and the fact that there's grenadiers behind a wall. This game has everything you could hope for. Chinese grenadiers behind a wall.
Well, they're French grenadiers actually, but yeah.
French Chinese grenadiers behind the wall. Uh-oh.
What is going on? Lag spike.
Ace is dying? Is it me that's dying?
Don't think so. I'm on 70 FPS, so looking good. It's Anyway, yes, he's slowing his age up down. I think Aztec has a stronger time, as you said, to do some damage here. That Summer Palace certainly under pressure. Are we going to see something pop out from it? He is choosing to fight this. He can get those grenadiers behind, and that's what he's going to do. Walk back through the gate, and they're completely safe there.
The mace took quite a bit of damage there, and they're still taking quite a bit of damage.
And the Summer Palace hits out some extra units. So right now that's a slight power spike. You've got this extra batch for free, and here come the Centuries as well, though awkwardly, and the Irregulars are going to have to walk around quite a lot. I think he's done a reasonable job of holding here, though we do see more units being added in.
He's going to be fine, honestly. He's going to be perfectly fine.
he does
Mito
not,
wasn't
however.
able to take down the Summer Palace. The Age 3 Wonder is now started.
It is.
And he's looking to be in a pretty good spot.
Pretty good. How often does Mito play Aztec is the question.
Not very often, I think, is the answer.
I see. So that might be something
Might
to
be
take
part
into
of it,
consideration. Aizamk now burning the French consulate agreement. Oh no, he just cancelled that. I think he sees the units coming in and is actually thinking, oh, I want to keep this now. So if I go to the queue, will I see something? No. He was burning the agreement.
What else can he get? What's like the Age 3 thing that he can get? Like, what's the Age 3 unit shipment? Like, is there anything extra?
I will Google it. The French consulate is not one that you see very often in competitive
And
play.
especially not, like, usually you just get, like, the resource crates from it. I know that's, like, the one thing that it does give you is resource crates, but I'm not super aware of, like, the military units that come from it. Although it's unlikely they'll get to a point where I'll be able to send them anyways.
I Google French consulate, and the suggestion is French consulate London, and I'm like, oh wait, actually no, consulate's a real thing. That's not how you say
This
it.
is a lot of units, though, to be perfectly fair. Like, this Summer Palace is going to go down. Mito's got a fairly scary amount of units here, and although the 10 Arquebusiers are going to come out, this is maybe a situation like where Mito can just fight. I mean, he's got actually a fairly scary military advantage here. I mean, almost double the military unit count. I have a feeling you're dying with your cough spell again.
Oh yes, I'd finished coughing and then I forgot the microphone was still muted. I said he does actually. I was agreeing with you, and then I said, is that exactly what he's going to do? Because he is now coming in.
Yeah, and it looks like I think he wants to fight here before like a military unit shipment comes. Like, despite the fact that there's
Yeah, there is available the 3 cuirassier shipment from the consulate that he could get. Does he have the export for it? No, unless he's queued it right now, which I don't think he has.
I think we got another batch of grenadiers coming, maybe. Or no,
Yeah, and you do get the 3
probably
grens.
crates coming.
They cost 800 export, I believe. That's quite a lot.
I don't know. This is like, it's kind of scary. The Aztec player has a lot of stuff still remaining, and there's not a lot of resources in the bank for the Chinese player. He doesn't have really any food available. Has like this, I guess, the crate of wood still here, but there's no food for him, and he's really like penned back in this corner. Going to be tough for him to get some food.
No food, you're right, and nowhere to gather it from. Well, I guess he is gathering now, but it's still like not in his base, ideally where it would be. And I think Mito could go shut that down if he wanted to.
5 meteor hammers though, and there's no real anti-cav here. I mean, there's the couple coyote runners, which are, I guess they'll buy some time.
Pseudo, they'll fill that slot for a little bit, but they don't do the bonus damage. They'll only just body block from the Mace Halton, which is enough for the time being. 5 meter hammers is pretty good. China, though, the problem is now like the batches of units he's training are just kind of awkward in the sense that you have to get some other units that you might not necessarily want. Since they train in banner armies, it's going to take the fight though. Those the coyote runners coming on the front going to block the meteor hammers from getting into combat, moving that meteor hammer around, forcing the coyotes to run and follow.
Yeah. And the meteor hammers with their like kind of pseudo range as well are pretty good at picking off the mace with their fairly short range. So, but more coyote runners filtering their way in, and this is looking tough for China. This is I don't know.
A second town center.
Really? What? That's
what in
not
the
so
world?
sure about that. Maybe those resources could have been.
It seems quite odd. At this point, you think, well, maybe I should be spending resources on military units, but then maybe if you stacked up 600 wood because you haven't been able to collect food.
Yeah, well, and he shipped the wood from the French consulate before he switched over to the British consulate, right? So, I mean, I guess he had that 500 wood available, and at the end of the day, he does get another set of sentries and irregulars from this, another place to gather coin from and queue villagers out of. So it's not the worst investment of 600 wood, but ideally, he would be investing that in some other way.
Yeah, I guess the issue is maybe like if he already had the wood, what do you spend it on? I mean, what units cost wood and that much of it?
Yeah, and I mean he's got decent population space. He did manage to hold on to
a monastery. It's happening.
Where do we see the monastery?
The monastery is going down. You'll see those exalted.
Yes.
No, what is it? The repentant units collecting a lot of coin, as you can see. Doesn't have very much food to gather. Certainly has got some food, but he's choosing to collect the coin. I think we're going to see the what has he got in queue? Let's go right there. He hasn't decided yet. He's still looking. He's not sure if he wants to.
Well,
trade
it could be just like a huge disappointment where he's got like his options are like renegados and and like the arsonists or something. Like who knows? It could be anything.
It's really luck of the draw. Every map is different. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. Oh, wait a minute. Does the map decide? Should it be embedded in the code?
I'm not 100% sure, honest.
If so, then Gaia, does your map facilitate mercenaries? So you're not having that. You don't want this BS in your map. I don't know for sure how that works, but
it's not positive. One thing that we have
if it's empty though,
it'll be pretty sad. is the fact that there have been a couple of decent little raids here by these Ironfalls, and if you take a look at the villager counts, they're kind of starting to even up a little bit in some sense to the fact. Oh my God!
Whoa, he's just queued a repentant Lil Bombard.
We both saw it at the exact same time. Unbelievable.
Okay, so this is what he wants to do. He wants to create anti-cavalry to protect a repentant Lil Bombard, which is absolutely huge. Gonna do lots of damage versus the Mace Holden. That's absolutely
look how many coyotes and just melee units are out in general. Like,
yeah,
it's just gonna get. I feel like it's just gonna get surrounded before it like really has a chance to do anything.
If he can fit it in some sort of like tiny wall coin mine market, like little crevice where it can't be gotten at, then maybe.
He's got a flying
villagers going
he's
down.
Got a crow, like
does have a flying crow.
And why are there villagers up here with this Mace Holton army? I think they're like mistakenly in the control of the base. They're just like
in the wrong control group.
Like look, they're moving.
They definitely are. They're following the Mace Holden control group around. He'll notice that.
They look very similar, to be fair.
Point. Oh, the crow is taking shots. Not too good. He's not going to be happy about that. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Going to get the musketeers into hand combat to defend that. Here, wow, here we see a batch of disciplined Keshiks coming out. The Lil Bombard's still not quite here. Well, not just Keshiks. Sorry, Steppe Riders, and you get a couple of Keshiks as well.
There are so many units out right now for Aztec, though.
Wait, exactly what was that he just got? Oh, it was the Bayang.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. It's a shipment of some sort. Yeah. Here comes the Bombard.
There it is. Good God. Those poor Mace Holden. The animation when they get thrown across the screen is rather... Oh my God, what is that? Is it enough, though, in terms of competitiveness? He's like, what? He's held it. He's forced the teal player out. Cyan,
I mean, he's surviving, but has he really held it?
He's gonna, yeah.
I mean, he's down 10 bills. Okay. That thing is so immobile, it's going to be hard to ever keep up with the mobility factor of this army.
Yeah, he doesn't have another one in queue either. Now training a territorial army.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, losing... He has forced him out. Okay, that's good. But he did lose a village. He has lost some villagers for it. The raiding earlier with the meteor hammers is kind of been nullified by the fact that, the raiding you pointed out, that the Mace Holton have been in his base and all of these other units and actually been killing Blue's units. He is now able to... there it goes. It's not getting any, like,
look at how far that coyote... He's still skipping, like, into the pond. He flew, like, halfway across my screen.
It's like stone throwing.
Such a satisfying unit.
With coyote runners. Oh, here comes a batch of pikemen. No, I don't think they're going to get shot at by that cannon. That cannon, though, is... If you can keep it alive, it's pretty hard to kill that. It's got 660 HP.
Look at the bombard damage on it, too. Just 400 with 4 range. Unbelievable.
And that means it's actually good against every unit, because it doesn't have multipliers. Unlike falconets or heavy cannons, it's actually good against, cavalry-style units like coyote units.
So good. How is he going to kill that? It's going to be really tough to kill that. He's going to...
I guess you just... as Aztec, you, make arrow knights, but they're not good. They're not that good. I mean, like, maybe you just mass coyotes. I guess they're your two options.
He is getting close. He's almost. I mean, he's aging up right now, right? So he's gonna soon be in the third age.
Yeah, then
he could get Arrow Knights, or even Eagle Runner Knights would be a little bit more mobile and be able to do something. But still, that cannon is pretty badass.
Even if they're not the most competitive games or the most like the build orders are optimal, Aizamk's games certainly are interesting.
Oh, here it comes again. Here it comes. It's trying to get its way. See, it's just so slow though. Like the rest of the fight is like almost over.
Is already happening. There it goes, turning around, kaboom. The problem is like look at all of the, if you hold the alt bar, just like the amount of low weight. Oh my god, those Puma Spearmen. He doesn't want to stand around it either. He doesn't want to take this fight. The problem is he's finding it hard to get any relevant shots off with it. Like, I mean, certainly kills a couple of units here and there, but really wants to get like a shot off in the middle of the Mace Holton sort of formation. Yep. But really hasn't actually managed to do that yet. It's just been on like just the things on the periphery of its range that it can get at rather than what it wants to.
Look at how slow everything is moving for his army when it's like trying to range around that cannon.
That little bombard, I want to point out, cost him 1,200 coin to queue.
The Arrow Knights. Here comes some Arrow Knights finally.
Yeah, now it's gonna be tough. Those things. Wait, hold on. Arrow Knights.
They're kind of.
How much range do they have?
I'm looking right now. 30 range.
The cannon has 28, so they're still in range, and this is still good against them. How many hit points do Arrow Knights have? I can't even see them.
They're standing behind where the Noble's hut just went down. There's only 2 of them.
Oh, where's?
They're like right here. They're kiting the flying crow right now. There's only 2 of them as well.
Okay.
Looks like we're gonna have the fight. This is probably gonna be the deciding fight.
I think so. The Arrow Knights are being taken out by those skirmishers, though, so he still has nothing to deal with this giant cannon. I think, though, I guess it's fighting the Coyote Runners here at the moment, which is actually reasonable against, and those are what it really needs to be scared of. Whoa, into the Mace Holton.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Coyote Runners have gotten through, are going to do lots of damage to that, but it does have a 600 HP, so it might actually stay alive if he can quickly bring this down. No, 1,200 coin worth of cannon has just gone into that small lake. And now he really can't stand around here. I guess that was the only reason he could justify taking shots, because he had a giant cannon.
So satisfying seeing that cannon play.
But you know how cannons really, like, the more, like, one Falx, like, I said this on stream once, 2 Falx is definitely better than 1. And that was the most obvious, silliest comment I could have made. But do you know what I mean? Like, they scale when you have more cannons. If you had 2...
Well, it's the splash damage, right? When you have more stuff splashing around, like, the better it is.
There's a really weird noise coming from my... anyway, the game is now just ended. Sorry, I got really distracted just then. It was like a radio was playing. It's like, Slender Man is nearby.
Run and hide.
It's pretty weird. I'm actually kind of pretty...
Run and hide.
Run and hide. I'm going to end the recording on that note. Thank you very much for watching. Oh no, we have 2 more games. Potentially.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it too.
Am I about to die?
What is it? Is it coming from me?
I don't know. Let me go investigate.
Hopefully interjection isn't dead.
Okay, it was the radio. It was like my alarm clock.
Why was your alarm clock turned on?
Well, it's always on, just so I know the time. But I don't know, like it makes a really obnoxious beeping sound to wake me up. It doesn't play the radio, so time's up. Let's do this. Insert no.
Yep.
No. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second game in the second Smackdown of the 7th of February 2015. This is the second game. Here it is. Spanish versus Dutch.
Second game of the second series in the second month of Saturday Smackdown.
Yeah, that is true. I was trying to think of something else that we could say second. I was like, of the second century of... No, so the second... Wait, what is a 10-year bit called? 10 years is a decade, right?
Yeah,
second decade. I guess it is the
second millennia.
Yeah, I guess it is the second decade. I mean, like, it's not quite the 2020 yet, but Anyway, let's see. In the south of the map, yes, I have seen this map before. Manchuria. Wow, the water is quite striking. Anyway, here he is, Spanish, Aizamk, playing in the south, in the color blue. This was a matchup that we had decided by you guys in the chat. Spanish versus Dutch, of all things. Possibly one of my favorite matchups, not gonna lie. Back on vanilla, this was, I don't know why, I just liked this matchup. It was in slightly favor of Spain, but Dutch is by no means out of it. And this is the Asian dynasties, where Spain is a little bit weaker. They have less XP, therefore less shipments, and their shipments have been nerfed as well. Spain is now probably the weakest civ in the game, next to Portuguese. Probably on par with Portuguese. We'll see what happens. It's certainly still very like Dutch still struggles with fast fortress pressure, I'd say.
Yeah, that's true. One other thing that I want to point out with Spain that is a pretty important thing that they definitely lack in this particular, or well, I guess just in general, is they don't have any ranged infantry shipments, which with kind of like the age 3 ranged infantry metagame and how strong ranged units are in general, not having like 8 skirms, like just not having the 8 skirm card is so detrimental to their age 3 play. Like their fortress play would be infinitely better if they had a 8 skirmisher shipment, but they just simply don't, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me cough right then. That was it. Anyway, I hope good. I didn't know if I got the mute on in time, but yeah, that's actually like from experience playing as Spain. If Dutch gets too many Reuters early on, it's actually quite tough to come back because if they see you've got 3 or 4 or 5 skirms that you've just managed to pop out as your first batch, they'll actually like just target them down with the Reuters because they don't want to let you stack up your skirms. And you've not got that many skirms, so you're not going to be able to punish their Reuters. They just want to stop you from stacking them up. So it can be tough for Spain. But 60 food, not too bad. Has collected a couple of yaks, not many. In fact, just 1 actually, I think.
And also further on to that point with Spain, like even if you're playing more of a standard like type civ, like say you're playing against French, and the French player makes only a single barracks and trains 5 skirmishers out of it and ships 8 skirms and 7 skirms, he's effectively got 20 skirmishers out of a single barracks in a fairly short amount of time. Versus Spain, if they want to get 20 skirmishers in an even amount of time, it's probably going to involve dropping a second barracks and just training 20 skirmishers out of barracks, which is a very costly thing to do. Not nearly as efficient as just sending 8 skirms, 7 skirms, and having the flexibility then with your architecture to do something like a stable and a barracks at the same time. Yeah. Spain oftentimes has to commit to a double racks type style if they want to keep up in the skirmisher wars, which once again can be something that's not as favorable for them, especially in the early portions of the fortress games, where sometimes that extra flexibility of being able to send something like 8 skirms or 2 falconets or choosing based on what you scout is far more important. So another thing to mention.
Maito picking up 50 wood there, not too bad for him. But basically what's been going on in this game so far is kind of they've just been collecting food. That's all they've been doing. And now they're aging up. And now they're both collecting wood, as you can see. Spain, however, is going to be building a trading post out of that wood. You can see the trading post foundation now going down over here. Wants, of course, to get the XP. And now that... maybe he's going for 2 trading posts. I mean, he did find like a fairly decent amount of wood, right? I think. Yeah. No, that was Maito actually.
Is there even a chance that he's maybe just going to do something colonial based? Like
it's possible.
He doesn't have to age. I mean, could just play like Rod Huss is actually pretty good against like Dutch in general, just because like. So? Yeah, I mean, there's no musket type units for Dutch, which is something that it can be kind of hard to deal with if you get like a big massive Rod Huss and you like timing push them before they're able to get any sort of like Reuter population established, can be a bit awkward. And it looks like at the very least he's going to do something Huss oriented, maybe some sort of Cav semi-FF.
Yeah, Cav semi-FF definitely a shout there. Could potentially full Hussar colonial, is it possible? No, but we'll see.
That'd be a bit dangerous.
It would. But something Fortress Age orientated. Dutch has now got his first bank down, and there's 400 wood, possibly a second bank will come out of that, and we'll see what his first shipment is, most likely either 700 wood or a bank wagon. Barracks now going down. So there is that, and a forward outpost for Spain.
Maito's building a livestock pen. Sorry to cut you off, but Maito's building a livestock pen. Interestingly enough,
he definitely is. There's a lot of cows. I think that H2O would be proud.
Yeah. The magic number is 8 according to H2O, so
And it's definitely, I think,
does
more than
fulfill
8.
that. Yeah, he's got 9, so he fulfills.
There it is. Okay.
But that's going to slow him down a little bit, right? That his next bank or his next bit of infrastructure is going to be a bit slower.
That's true. And I think traditionally, the vanilla matchup at least, where Spain will pretty much guarantee FF, is they send the 700 coin and just collect nothing but food all game long, age up, and then that 2 Falcons, they'll train 10 Musks during transition or something like that. And if you spend 200 wood in a livestock pen, that slows you down so much that Dutch already finds it tough to fight Spain. That could be pretty punishing. Here, though, he's doing a semi-FF, which is a bit slower, so especially as Spain, since you don't have an age-up fast option. So this could be... It's something he could get away with, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm a bit curious about the inclusion of the barracks in the build as well. It's something that maybe Mido thought like some sort of aggressive play would be coming out of his opponent, so kind of just blindly made the barracks like maybe even almost in hopes that his opponent would do something like with pikes or rods or something aggressive of that nature. All, right? Yeah. And I guess here comes 8 pikes, so it looks like it is going to be some sort of heavy infantry follow-up. But this is so awkward for Mido. He's only got the 2 banks. We can see he was trying to age, and I don't know if he's even going to be able to get up. I mean, he's going to have the resources to get up with this cow, but at the same time, he's only going to have 2 banks, likely going to lose even both of the banks or something. This is going to get awkward in an awfully big hurry.
Yeah, it is. Like, even that livestock pen is vulnerable. It has so few hit points. It could go down. It's the same as a house, actually. Gonna lose a house. He's gonna take out all the squishier buildings first, because targeting the bank, getting it to like three-quarters of its health down, and then being faced with 5 skerms or something, or Minutemen being forced away is really disappointing. So it's a lot easier to bring down a house. Kills lots of villagers going down. Not too good, but he's now able to start sieging that bank.
Yeah.
And he's not, by the looks of it, having any intention of aging up. He's...
oh, man, this really sucks for him. He's going to have to send villagers all the way up there to fetch that. That's really unfortunate for him.
That's kind of annoying. That is true. But as long as it doesn't get taken away from him, it's definitely, like... he can manage. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. He'll survive. Somehow he'll manage.
Taking out the Explorer, though, 45 XP and those pikes still running around. Maito is up to the next stage, so we're going to see a military shipment out of him, I would imagine, within 20 seconds or so, if he did indeed have one queued and ready by the time he hit up. Yeah?
Yeah, he did. Most definitely did. And it's going to be 9 Reuters. Like, that's what he needs. There's nothing but 9 Reuters makes sense here.
Yeah. And does he have the pops for it, though? Like, I assume he did.
He just got it out. I mean, he's 30 out of 20 now, but... he did get it, and I really like the decision by Ace to sneak those pikes around. I mean, it would be so tempting just to like circle siege one of those banks and try and get it down, but at the end of the day, it's a little too close to the town center. You're never gonna like get it down, and so just opting instead to sneak his pikes around the side, picking off an extra house. And here come the 9 Riders.
9 Riders going to clear up those cav pretty well. They do have that ×3 multiplier, and they'll clear up these pikemen as well. Of course, if the pikemen try to get close to those Reuters, not going to happen. Reuters have so much speed, just going to run away. Though having said that, they did actually manage to but they're going to go down. He'll clear them up.
Doing a good job of he's doing a good job of toggling them between cover mode and ranged mode and trying to catch up and stuff. And another thing I do want to mention here is Dutch is not standard age 3 Dutch. It's not like he's 4 bank, really strong, no harass, all his buildings up Dutch. He is a 2 bank livestock pen Dutch, which is considerably worse than 4 bank, no livestock pen, and slightly less fattened cows Dutch, in my opinion. So although he is Dutch in the 3rd age, soon he's going to be against Spain, who's going to be in the 3rd age with the trading post as well. Yeah. And I don't know that necessarily Dutch is going to have nearly enough economy to follow this up. He lost a lot of houses. Probably going to have to ship something like 1,000 wood or something here as his next shipment. And I don't know if he can withstand the battery of pressure that's likely to come when Spain gets aged up. It's going to be much more difficult for him.
That's true. Though these Reuters doing a good job killing off the villagers there as well, stopping him from getting that barracks up. Perhaps he can even up that settler gap with these raids. But you're right. This Dutch isn't... He hasn't got his 4 banks. He's only got 3 banks. It's just 2 banks, right? He does, however, have a lot of fattened cows. Can he make something happen with that? Maybe. It's just like having a lot of food and not have anything else can kind of be awkward. We'll see what these cows really do for him. But yeah, Spain definitely, you know, especially with the entire trading route now.
Yeah. Well, I think his best bet with those cows is to ship 1,000 wood and make 2 more banks. Because what he really is going to need is he's going to need banks at some point. He's going to need a more sustainable economy, and banks obviously are what's going to give him that. I would be very surprised if we didn't see 1,000 wood as the next card for the Dutch player, just to get him more upgrades from the market. I mean, he needs it anyways, just to finish up his infrastructure. We can see doesn't really have that much wood and is sitting at 50 out of 60 population space. Just for population space and banks alone, I think 1,000 wood makes the most logical sense as his next card.
I think you're right. I think that's what we'll see. Well, but wait, has 8 skirmishes just arrived? No, it has.
Yeah,
I think.
has.
Oh, you're wrong. It was 8 skirmishes. Perhaps he's more concerned about the mass. Or maybe he thinks at this point, Spain's still age 2. I know, I've got plenty of Reuters on the board, and he's not making any. Well, he hasn't got many units. I guess that's kind of a giveaway that he's aging. But actually, maybe he thinks, 8 skirms, I can pressure.
And I think that's a little bit of a mistake. I think he should have tried to hold with the skirms a little bit later on and rely on the 1,000 wood to get his eco back into the game a little bit. I feel like now, although he killed a couple pikes, he's kind of holding in his base. He's not very strong like right now, and well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It just makes me very uncomfortable with Dutch only having 2 banks in the third age. I guess is the grand scheme of what I'm trying to get at, but. If he can make this work out, and if he can, kind of keep Spain in check for a little bit longer and hold off and survive, then, maybe he'll find himself in an okay spot. He still has, 3 or 4 of those yaks left alive, which it is fairly significant because those do gather very, very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so he doesn't have the banks, and I think you've got 2 options. The 1,000 wood option, as you were suggesting, and then there's the mass military. Just do it with 2 banks. Still got the cows behind this as well. Make units. You've got the same economy in terms of villages, though Spain does have a trading route. And at this point, he's double military pop, well, not quite. And plus Dutch Reuters are weaker than regular single pop as well, or 2. Wait, they're actually ignore that last point. Anyway, 2 cannons out. Not looking too good. Not enough skirmishers here to actually protect them, I don't think. Yeah, first cannon going to get absolutely rinsed by those Reuters there. They are taking a lot of shots from the Minutemen and the skirmishers, but ultimately I think it's worth it. 3 cannons?
Yeah,
what?
if another falconet has been trained.
Is he sent the single falc? No.
No. Where's his artillery foundry?
What? Maybe it spawned 3? Was it a bug? What?
What?
Cow hacks. I'm calling it right now in the chat, please. What is?
I'm actually very confused.
There are 3 falconets. What? I remember Goodspeed talking in one of his guides about the single falc shipment. He's like, well, what else do you send as Spain?
Yeah, but he hasn't sent it unless the UI is bugged, right? And there's no artillery foundry. I'm so confused.
So we definitely saw 3 falcs. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We both saw it. That's definitely a 3rd falconet.
Why isn't Maito confused either? He's not upset about this. Maybe he suspects an artillery falc.
Perhaps so, but there is no artillery foundry.
Either way, though, this fight has still not gone hugely well for him. The Reuters have been neutralized at the expense of all these cannons, I think. Where are the Reuters? Yeah. No, there aren't any.
But this is the point we're getting at the early portion of the game, right? This is the point where what he needs is an 8 skirmisher shipment to catch back up. He doesn't have an 8 skirmisher shipment because he's playing Spain.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, right? He's forced to send 8 rods and build dragoons instead. What he really needs right now is an 8 skirm shipment. He doesn't have an 8 skirm shipment. And it's making things really awkward for him while he's trying to catch up.
And this is where Goodspeed says that the single cannon is I guess you could send it instead of skirms. It performs a similar function, right? I mean, it's not so good against. I think there was something about a single falc. It's like last resort, I guess. But right.
where did the single falc come from?
Is there a treasure that says, it's like a single falconet stuck in a tree, and if you rescue it, it might join the cause?
I'm looking.
There isn't. There probably isn't. There's no nugget in the game that does that. The UI isn't bugged, apparently.
See the rods. It showed.
No, it didn't.
But what?
Oh, one improvements. Go to improvements. It's Aizamk's thing. He's put the one Falk shipment as an improvement and not a
Oh, okay.
It arrived at 1224, which kind of makes
sense.
Does it? 11th? Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah.
It was the Falk shipment.
Yeah. Okay.
4 lances. Sorry. Oh, that's so disappointing. Age of Empire. What? Oh, we see a lot of lances, but not enough skirmishes really to make it happen. I don't think. Certainly going to be very strong against the skirmishes. They do have that ×3 multiplier, really quite strong. But blue does not have enough skirmishes to kill off those Reuters, and you know, because of that, these lances will go down pretty quick. 4 skirmishes doing work. You can see they're trying to focus down those Reuters with low HP, but Aizamk not too happy.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, he's just playing Spain at this point.
Oh, poor Spain.
Poor Spain. Yeah, well, he tried.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What is going?
What just happened? Why did everything turn into a cow?
Oh, there we go. Zuta, do you believe now? Have I converted you?
I'm not even sure what I just saw.
If this is not a display of the hacks to the highest degree, then yeah. The thing is, though, Aizamk, it says that Aizamk won that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously he didn't, but...
Well, he clearly did.
Wow, okay. Well, now I know.
Yep. That is the power of cow hacks. There it is. That is definitely... I think it's because he's Aizamk. That's the only logical explanation.
Alright. That's funny.
I love how he won the game through that. That was really, really clever. I like this move.
Yeah.
You're not impressed, are you?
I'm just confused. And also, you know what I just noticed? There's like 4 cows up here. Like, how did those get turned into cows?
Well,
what else gets turned into cows? Like the Mother Nature stuff got turned into cows? You know what I mean? Like the stuff up on the cliff on the left side.
I'm
like...
euphoric right now. I'm just so glad that happened.
I'm just incredibly confused.
Why are we still looking at this map?
Yeah. We've spent too much time playing this game today, I think is the point we're trying to get to.
Apparently those are tap players just on the top of the...
Oh, okay.
Those are they spawn in, you know what they do. They're the invisible tap player that makes us stay in the game as observers but not resign because we still have a unit.
Sure.
That's a good place to put them.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, now we see. But that is the end of that game. Another game to Aizamk. Well played right there.